Okay, so we're asking dumb SEO questions. Each week we answer the questions asked on the dumb SEO questions community on Google+. With us tonight we have Girish Kapoor. Girish is an SEO from Chandigarh in India. John Britzius from WebNauts joins us. It's the second time, John.
Yes, last week, sorry guys, but I said always when I have time.
Okay.
Stressed here.
So we're asking John. Somebody's playing the hanging out in the background. If you could turn it off, guys, the feedback will kill us. John works as SEO workers in Germany, and he's proud to call himself an SEO. I think that's true.
Yeah, well, also, yes.
Okay.
It's just one part of the whole picture.
Masataki Wasa is webmaster of wasaweb.net in the UK. He's a Wimbledon fanatic and also a Google top contributor on the Google Plus Help community and also on the AdSense forum. And also, are you allowed to tell us what's happening, Masataki? There seems to be some move in the help communities at the moment.
In what respect?
I noticed a button that wasn't ticked the other day, and you said you couldn't tell me about it. Is it news yet?
Oh, that's still, I mean, not not something.
All right. Watch this space. Okay. Senior SEO manager for Zazzle.com, Micah Fisher-Kirshner, presides over a company which has sold 32 million products on the internet. That's a fair record. Rob Mars is CEO of MarketBiz.nl, that's spelt with 2 Z's. He is an AdWords aficionado and in the Dutch language appears on the AdWords and web search forums. I think that's right, he hasn't complained. All right, so our first question tonight is from, let me see, Niraj Kumar. It's headed site ranked without a keyword in result. And Niraj says, I searched for India CP. All others are okay with India and CP in their content. But why is the number 2 result on the search engine results page, which if you look on the Dumb SEO Questions community on Google+, you'll find this post and you'll be able to see the link. And he's referring to welcome-to-corporate-professionals.com. He wants to know how this appears as number 2 in the search engine results page when there is no CP, like the letter CP, in the result. He also goes on to tell us that in India, Corporate Professionals is a company and is called CP in short, and all the official mails are a star at indiacp.com. He wants to know if Google recognises the mail ID, and that's how it does it. He wants to know what your thoughts are, guys.
Well, there can be many reasons why it's at the second place in the SERPs. Could well be that email address, but more likely it will be links pointing to it and anchor text used for it. So it doesn't have to be on the page, but it certainly would help if you're doing SEO to put the word you want to be found on your page, for that matter.
Yep. There was also a comment made in the community. I remember reading it through the week, but I've forgotten. I thought it was pretty well spot on. I don't have that on my Q-Timer report, but you guys have that on your panelist report. Is there anything there in the community comments that you thought might be relevant?
I didn't see any comments. I think.
Well, somebody added an answer, but I'm still trying to understand what this really is about. All others are okay with India NCP, their content, but why the number 2 source relevant? Or there is no CP result.
Yeah, the comment is just, yeah, I mean, he was wondering about whether or not, if in the code, that, you know, there's an email that goes to, you know, let's just say webmasters@indiacp.com. So is Google going to recognize that India.cp part on the page? But I don't currently see it in the cache version, in the version I have. So my kind of view would be it could be going, most likely going back to the link side of it.
Okay. Well, Niraj, I hope that satisfies you. If not, of course, you can always ask it again on the SEO Questions community on Google+. Question number 2 on your run list, guys, is from Dave Elliott. Essentially, he's asking, should we help other webmasters? He goes on to say, so I have done a link audit on a site and have found that one of the sites that link to my client have major canonicalization problems on their site. Basically, there are lots of domains and pages pointing to my client site, but most of the URLs have a really poor domain/page authority, but a couple of them aren't too bad and are actually useful to the site. All of them are an identical page. How should I proceed? Should I email the website and ask them to canonicalize the page and explain the benefits of doing so and how it will benefit everyone, even giving them the code that needs to be added to the page? Or can I disavow the individual domains while still keeping the domains that have decent authority? Or will disavowing one link cause all of them to be disavowed?
All of them are identical.
I'd be a bit cautious if there are the same page coming from a large number of domains. I'd be concerned that Google might be looking at a link farm.
So that means what he's saying now, if I got it now right again, that means that there is a page on the customer's website, and then there are a norm amount or just an amount of pages which are duplicated, but they're hosted on external sites, and from there they're linking to it. Is that right? Something like a syndication thing.
Yes, that's what it sounds like.
Looks like a business list or something that's copied and pasted.
Being reused and reused and reused. Right. Well, the best recommendation would be, I mean, which most of the cases doesn't work because it depends on the experience of the webmasters, the owners of those sites, is to add the canonical back to the original source, to his customer's site, to that page, where the original page, that's the one option. Well, which is maybe the best option. Now, the question is if those sites now, well, we have to see it like this, that maybe, for example, this list can be hosted on maybe sites that we wouldn't like to have a link from, for example, which might, you know, that would put us into trouble with backlinks. Like, I don't know, if it's a completely unrelated site, it's just a page hanging out there that they copied from our site, for example, and they just put it up there, and that site has kind of spammy activities or something like that. I mean, there might be a risk. And
I don't think that disavowing one link is going to cause them all to be disavowed, but
no, for sure
he needs to. Yeah, he needs to be specific about.
Depends on how he did the canalization.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean,
Yeah.
so that's a different thing. Yeah. That on its own, it wouldn't. But that, which kind of Rob is alluding to, which is that if he disavows first and then asks the website owner to canonicalize them, the guy may canonicalize the pages to a specific domain that he's disavowed. So, he needs to probably. One option is to actually contact the webmaster first to see what the webmaster can do, or will do, in terms of kind of all these domains that are out there. I'm not as worried quite as much about on the page level, but domain level is a little more worrying. Yeah, once kind of he has an understanding of what the webmaster is going to do, then he can kind of figure out which ones he doesn't need to do anything with the disavow, for example.
Well, it's not. He's not talking about one webmaster. He's talking. If I understood, he's talking about many. So it could be many sites. For example, they come to your site, they copy an article. For example, we know that these scrappers or content thieves or whatever. So and they plug it in their blogs or article there and there and there and there, and you're trying to contact these webmasters to ask them. It depends on the number. If it's one or two, it's okay. But if this becomes like a enormous amount of copies.
Nowhere in here does he mention that it's out of the other person's control. He doesn't mention what kind of articles. So we don't know if they're syndication. We don't know if it's just an RS feed or if the guy's accidentally duplicated the domain on multiple sites. So yeah, I mean, if it is outside of the control, then that's a different issue. I mean, depending on that situation, yeah, I still think you would probably at least have to contact the webmaster and see.
The individual domains, still keeping the domains that have a decent authority, or will disavowing one. Well, if he's talking about disavowing, right, or is that, yeah. Well, he's saying that, or can I disavow the individual domains while still keeping the domains that have a decent authority? Or will disavowing one link cause all of them to be disavowed? So it sounds like it cannot be under his control, because otherwise he wouldn't mention that he would just choose which domains he would disavow and which ones not.
No. He's talking about for the webmaster of the other site. So he's wanting to link out. He's wanting to see if for his client, should he disavow some other webmaster that's linking to his client from many domains, some of which are duplicative, and so he's wondering about that part of it, not the client side.
But he's also talking about getting, pardon me the word, link juice from the ones he doesn't disavow. And if they're all just plain duplicates, he only needs a link from one of those pages and he can disavow the rest.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing is the value for doing that really worth it?
Well, even if it's worth it, I mean, what it would be worth it to have duplicated content? I mean, parts of his customer's site being copied somewhere else.
No. This is not the content. It's from to his client. It's the third party is the one that has the content issue. The content.
Third party. Yes.
So it's really a pure like a backlink thing of whether or not the third party is still of value if he just has one of them linking to him, in order to avoid kind of the view that there's a link farm going to the site.
Okay, I see what you mean. Well,
it all depends on the amount and how many, but yeah, there's all that. But I mean, it never hurts to contact and get kind of some relationships going that way. So let them bring it up. You're helping to clean up the web, and in theory, by helping to clean up their site, he's going to make the backlink that he does have more valuable because it doesn't look as spammy. So if he's got some time and he thinks it's worth it, contact the third party that's linking to his client.
Yeah. Invariably, I find, I mean, as my good deed for the day, I try to contact at least one webmaster whose site has been hacked. I don't often meet the mark, but I do try. But invariably, when you do contact these people, even when you're trying to do them a favour, there's a lot of resistance
Yes.
to being told what to do with their site. Is that what you guys find?
Yeah, every time I tell people not to copy and paste my pages and put them on their websites, they react funny.
Okay. By the way, guys, that was 7. Is that 7 for the 100, Rob? Is that what you're talking about? 100. Ah, yes. I've asked Angela to bake a cake. We were talking about it tonight. I've asked Angela to bake a cake, and I'll sit here and eat it, and you guys can watch.
How will it be delivered?
Okay. Well, look,
By
David,
drone.
you're happy with that answer. Paul Stott asks us a question. He wants to know if you can redirect without passing any penalties. Paul goes on to say, I have a website that I feel has been hit by a Panda or other Google update. In the past, I used a company to market my website on the internet, but all they did was create spammy links. I've given up trying to rank well with this site, and I don't want to use the disavow tool. I have set up another site and want to start again. Ideally, I want to do a redirect so referral customers can find me, but I don't want to pass on any penalties. What do you suggest, Paul?
May I answer? I like the question, Jim. Okay, well, he says that redirecting means it's more, he explains it very clearly. I mean, he's answering his own question. He says to redirect, so referral customers. So there is the option if he is on, well, I can talk about Apache now, htaccess, where you can do add a referral. That means that is a browser side thing, which does not pass PageRank. I don't know if you ever heard about referrals. I'll try to find a link of how it looks like. That means that if somebody clicks on the link from the other website, is coming to that page from a website, from a link, that it will be redirected, but without passing PageRank. So if he's very sure that that's what he wants, and that is the best option. So the customers, when they click on a link somewhere else and they're pointing to that page on his website, that will be, it will act like a redirect, but it's not a real redirect. It's not a 301 or a 302. It's not a redirect. We call referral. And referral doesn't pass PageRank, so there he is safe.
Well, okay, so a couple of things to keep in mind with this. The 302 would as well not pass PageRank, first off. So he could just...
Sorry, say that again?
The 302 wouldn't pass PageRank generally, but there's a couple of things to keep in mind. If he assuming he knows which kind of penalty he's gotten, like if it's a Panda related type penalty where it's a content issue, then he can do a regular 301 and he's fine if it's all new content. The penalty for that is generally it's an on-site issue. So even if it was even if the penalty for that was passed along within the month or two, all the new content that Panda wouldn't be hitting that site anymore because it's not going to have it. But if it's a purely a more link-based penalty, then that will depend on kind of what kind of issue he's done in the past. The reasoning for that is that then yeah, you'd want to probably do 302s. At the same time, depending on how egregious those penalties were, if Google does have the ability and has recently stated that if you have done some pretty egregious things in the past, they will sometimes still, even if you don't 301 the site, if they can connect the two sites together, they will still pass the penalty along.
Yes. I sent a list recently to Jim on the last Hangout, a huge list of some resources I had about that. But okay, let's clarify something. 302, it doesn't mean that it doesn't pass PageRank. That is maybe something that it used to be. I have to admit that it used to be, where in the Webmaster guidelines they were saying if you have an affiliate links, for example, then attribute them with you can do 302 redirects, or you can make a jump URL. That means that you're pointing an intermediate page, and the intermediate page can be blocked in the robots.txt. I developed even some more complicated stuff where there is no way, even if Google would drop all the redirects and say, okay, I consider it as like a direct link, it wasn't possible. But the thing is that 302s, it's Google's judgment or the bot's judgment if it's gonna pass PageRank or not. So we have to be careful that 302 is no more like it used to be.
I wouldn't say it's always had that option. I wouldn't necessarily. I'd say they've relaxed it a bit, but yeah, 302 for the most part, it could still pass. It's meant to be temporary, and so.
Well, I'm very maybe conservative or very paranoid, because primarily the business we're running here since 2012, about 90% of our customers still at the moment we're dealing with penalties, and penalties mainly Penguin. So that is a very hot topic for us, and we're very sensitive. So 302s, we wouldn't rely on the 302s. On the other hand, what you said about Panda and the content, if I understood the question of the user is about redirects. That means to me that it's something about links related, right? I mean, where you say
no. He wants to do a redirect for his website.
Ideally, want to do a redirect so referral customers. Well, okay, if he had a Panda issue, like you said, and I agree, the best option to go is first if he could update his content. I mean, rewrite his content, because it still can carry a problem like John Mueller said, I don't remember, but I read it elsewhere too, that if you have a Panda smash, it would be recommended to rewrite the content. It depends how bad you were smashed, but if you're moving to a new domain, even if you're moving to a new domain, it would be a good idea or the best option to rewrite your content to fix the problem, basically, right? Because it's not going to be. I had a case with a very big brand we were working in the past with until it was 1.5 years ago or something. What they did was they were smashed from the Panda, and we're talking about a website of 32 or 33,000 pages. So, and what they did was they were smashed from the Panda, and they just said, okay, we have a domain, now we have com, now we're going to switch to the net. So what they did was they just moved the site under the other domain they had, the same name but with .net. And he was completely, he was certain that it's going to work, because a very, very, very well-known SEO in the industry advised him just to do a redirect and his problems will be solved. And he did that, and I think it was 12 days later, a Panda was coming. And he was smashed, and he was equally smashed like he was on the previous site. So he carried the whole problem over. So that didn't make any sense. So how can I rely on a redirect, just redirecting to a new domain because I'm smashed from the Panda?
Well, if it's a Panda, or as he says, it's not really an official penalty, he says, algorithmic, that could be Panda, for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then only changing his content will help him, whether that will be on his old domain or
Yeah,
his
that's
new
what I'm
domain.
thinking now. Why should I move over to a new domain? I mean, this is not a penguin story, right? That the webmaster is not capable to get over with the problems he has with his link profile, and worst case scenarios, people will move maybe to a new domain. I can understand that, but Panda, just it's like taking off my clothes and wear them upside down. I mean, if I don't do the fixes for the Panda, there's not going to be any benefit. That's what I'm trying to say, because it's just redirecting to the same thing but with a different domain. So if I got the question right, so links to the sites, no, passing. Will redirect without passing. Yes, redirects past penalties. I mean, past penalties, if it's a penguin issue, it's going to pass over to the other side. I mean, if you're putting everywhere 301s, it's more than obvious because you didn't change anything. Everything is the same, and you're still letting juice pass over to your new domain.
Okay.
And Panda, because...
If I could, sorry, John, to interrupt you there, but we've got a lot of questions to get through, so
Okay.
but look, in essence, this gentleman, Alistair. By the way, Alistair Lattimore has just joined us. Alistair has his hands at the controls of websites turning over about $1,100 million a year. He works for the What If group of companies in Australia, soon to be owned by Expedia. Expedia can't rank websites; they have to buy ones that do. Anyway, we're talking on question 3 on your run list, Al. And look, one thing I take on board everything that you guys said, and one thing I love about these Hangouts is I learn something new every week. But I'm thinking that he shouldn't be redirecting at all, but I'll be guided by you. What he should be doing is just no following, leaving that site. And he's basically said he's given up trying to rank with that site. He wants to start again. So he's got the site that he's given up trying to rank for, but he still gets referral business from. Why not just put no follow links on it to his new site when he starts again? That would cover the whole issue, wouldn't it? No more redirects. No follow links would stop passing any penalties.
Yeah. To the extent, depending on the egregiousness of it, because once again, if Google's going to be following you around the web, then it may still pass. But if they don't, then that at least, is a possibility as well.
Perhaps we should advise him not to try to rank, but to publish great content.
So one thing that's going to be problematic.
You have to tell us that anymore. I will do that.
One thing that's going to be problematic with this, though, is that if Paul simply spins up a new website, like a new domain, puts all of the same content onto his new domain, and then links to it with the no-follow links from his old domain that's in some way penalized, Google are going to know that they're the same site, and it's pretty likely that any penalties that are associated to his existing site, with or without the redirects, with or without followed or no-followed links, are going to follow him to his new domain that he's never used before, if the content on the site is the same site. So yeah. I posted specifically about this only just maybe yesterday or the day before on a thread from Dan Petrovich, because John Mueller confirmed this back in February. A lot of people have suspected this behavior for quite some time in the Webmaster forums, where they've moved sites, put in no redirects, no links, and their website ultimately ends up getting penalized on a new domain with the same content. And John confirmed this in a Hangout earlier in the year. So if Paul wants to basically start over, he genuinely needs to start over, not simply redeploy the same website onto a new domain. That's going to be insufficient to or could be insufficient, depending on the penalty that he's got on his website, to clear himself of this breach of the guidelines, whatever that might be.
Yeah. I totally agree. How about, have we covered this one? We'll move on to the next. Paul, I hope that's been useful to you. Here we have a question from Gareth Marshall. 30 minutes in, guys. Elevator statements for the rest of the night, please. Gareth Marshall says, is it a good idea to use PR Web? Gareth says, hi guys, not been on for a few weeks, hope you're all well. Thank you, Gareth. Is it ever a good idea to use PR Web? I know they were penalised recently and have a lot of stigma attached to them. But I've got a PR that's newsworthy, well written, not stuffed with keywords, and contains just one unanchored link. Can I tell the boss that paying to use this site may actually have some value, and not just spammy links from all kinds of rubbish sites? Thanks.
I think he'd be better served to go and find someone to actually do him PR, legitimate PR, not just submitting an article to PR Web. And I don't say that simply because PR Web was penalised, but I think in general his business will get better long-term value out of having real people help him run PR for his business, because the PR people that he might hire are going to have mechanisms to help him get relevant coverage inside publications that are relevant to his business, to his industry, to his area of the country, for instance, and so forth, and not just splattering articles into PR Web with some vain hope that it's going to get distributed in front of people that care. I just can't imagine, for instance, journalists from any major news website, for instance, or niche website going to PR Web going, yep, I'm going to go there today and look for relevant articles. It just seems unlikely to me.
Yep. Totally agree. Anybody else?
Well, you should look at PR companies or websites as what they are. They are a place where you can put an article about your and attract people to your website, and not use it for your own link building. If you expect decent traffic from it, why not pay for the traffic and get it? If you don't expect any traffic, just link juice, then forget it.
Out of left field, and I know my blog guest is gone, but Anne Smarty's got a new one, hasn't she? If his article really is the Ant's pants, and people would be really excited about it, why not put it on one of those sites, that type of sites, and hope that people run with it? I mean, essentially guest blogging. Would that be a better idea?
Yeah, but that's another story. I think PR is something different than guest blogging.
Okay.
It is. I mean, I suppose the guest blogging scenario is, it's one form of potentially getting links to your site. But if you're looking for PR, the expectation is that the PR is going to get you inside much higher quality sites. That's the theory, or much more relevant sites, more than likely, which don't support or accept things like guest blogging. You know, you can't go to, most people, for instance, can't go to the New York Times or the Washington Post, for instance, and get an article published. But if you've got genuinely interesting press that's relevant to some section of one of those news websites, then you actually stand a chance of getting coverage, albeit you'll need to do some hard work to get in there. But you know, one link from a website like the Washington Post or the New York Times is huge. You know, it's a god link, particularly for you know, any normal size website. It's a very important link.
What was that term you used, Alistair? A God link.
Yeah.
God link.
Or maybe God link, maybe would be a better description.
All right. Okay. Well, Gareth, we didn't arrive at. Actually, does anybody want to sum up with an actual direction for Gareth, or should we pass on without arriving at a conclusion?
Pass on PR Web. Get somebody in house to work on it, or find out where other PR/news related people generally go, and work the connections there.
Pick up the phone and ring the local paper and magazines related to his niche. Okay, Gareth, look, I'm sorry, mate, but that's what we've got for you tonight. Please, if it's not enough, ask it again on the SEO Questions community on Google+. John Pitcher asks, does sidebar information in the footer have negative SEO implications? He said, I used to use the sidebar to give visual tick lists such as benefits of choosing the company, services offered, professional qualifications and membership, major customers, and maybe even a map with the areas covered. The information is generally covered by the text, but a tick list summary on a coloured background can draw the eye and help sell the customer. Nowadays, the trend is more for a one-column site, so I have been putting this information into the footer. If it is above the address and footer menus, if any, will this information be seen as less useful by Google's algorithms? Note, I still format the info in large text with images where relevant and make it look attractive to humans.
Seen as useful.
This is question 5 on our run list. I would have thought it was a fairly simple answer.
I don't think there's much difference between putting it side-wide on the left bar or side-wide on the footer. What you must watch out for is that it's not being seen as keyword spam if he uses too much keywords in such a small area. But it's all internal linking, so.
But if it's just a boilerplate, like you said, side-wide, the footer, and it's not gonna be so strict considered than if the main content area is repeated and repeated in several cases and not site-wide, right? I mean, it's just a boilerplate. But I mean, I like that he said it not about having a benefit from Google, but what I'm thinking about is we used to say in the past, or it's being said, put it this way, that if you have two links we talked about last time, Rob, you remember that, two links pointing to the same page from one page, right? Well, maybe boilerplates don't carry the same maybe strength. I'm not sure. I'm not Google. I don't know the page rank in that extent. I mean, they don't even reveal it. But if I have, let's say, one link in the sidebar and one link in the footer, and it's like twice, and I have that also maybe in the content, I have it 3 times. Okay, that's the danger. What you said about the keyword density, but we talked about in the past hangout. But my thinking is, well, if it's in the footer, you have a privacy policy, and you have the same also maybe in the sidebar, you have the same link elements there. I'm not sure if that's going to be a wise idea, because I mean,
well, diluting over from the sidebar to the footer.
Or move it to the footer. I mean, you may have the bottom of the page instead of having it on the sidebar.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see a problem with that. I mean, if he believes, the user here or the webmaster believes that it's user friendly, Google shouldn't have absolutely any problem. I mean, if it's really good for your users. I mean, primarily we have to think about users. And Google, I mean, if we start trying to dig into that depth, at the end, people mostly screw things up. I mean, they have an option to deliver something usable for the users that can really be helpful for the visitors. And just because Google, if I do that, I'm gonna have more, I don't know what, benefit or something. I mean, but the way he expressed it, I think I don't see any problem at all. I mean, it's fantastic. I didn't see the page, but I mean, I don't see any problems with that.
Well, he can add an add-on in Chrome now. There is the add-on where you get the visual from Google Analytics in Chrome if you install it immediately.
You mean that
percentages of clicking. And
yeah, I know it. Yes.
I'm afraid he will notice that will all be under 1% or 0.5% if they're in the footer.
It's below the fold. Yeah.
I think the thing probably, in terms of there being negative, from a negative SEO implications for doing it, I don't think that's really a concern in general with this. The bigger thing is, he's saying he would normally put them in the sidebar because he wants customers, real people, to see the benefits, for instance, right? Because he's trying to persuade them to use his service. By moving that content to the footer, now effectively, let's say 20% of the people that come to his website will see it, because most people aren't going to scroll to the depth, to the footer depth of the page. He can see this, for instance, if he goes into Google Analytics and has a look at the scroll depth data. So if the information he's putting in the sidebar that he's now moved to the footer is meant to be persuasive, it's now 80% less effective, for instance, because most people aren't going to see it. So in this instance, ignore Google and do what's right for the customer. In this instance, I would argue that the decision to move it to the footer is probably not in users' best interest, because most people won't see it now.
Well, don't you think at some point it could also happen that it will Google consider some like low quality or something, because these pages will not be visited and they will be like.
Then they will ignore it, but I wouldn't know how they would measure it if they don't use analytics data, and they're always telling they're not using analytics data.
Okay. Yeah, no, they say so, but now how true that is, I don't know. But you never know. Okay.
I think the simple answer to this, the elevator pitch, is it's not going to hurt, but do what's right for the users.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. All right. I don't know how to sum this one up, so I'm not going to try. John Pitcher, I hope, I'm sure if you listen to this clip a couple of times, which you can do via the SEOquestions.com site, you may see the way forward. Here's a question from Nathaniel Breens, who wants to know the value of shortening the permalink of a post title. He says, "Hey guys, I've got an SEO question. What's the value in shortening the permalink of a post title? Are there really any SEO benefits to it, or is it just a matter of convenience?"
But I'd say that there's no SEO benefit. You might find, for instance, that in the search results it might look a little bit neater. Maybe it will marginally improve click-through rate, maybe. But in terms of search rankings, negligible at best. Think of it this way. There's far bigger things to be worrying about and concerning yourself from a time standpoint than whether or not to shorten a permalink.
Yep, fair enough. I think that covers it for Nathaniel, unless somebody wants to add to it. Okay, next is from Thomas Merriot. Thomas asks for tools to map backlinks. He says, "Hi, I am quite new to SEO Is there any tool to map all the backlinks within a website or a set of websites to see what is linked to what? If it could be done, and as far as I understand, if I am not, please correct me, this would allow the webmaster to plan his backlinking in order to do a better SEO with the use of a more systematic approach. Am I correct? I would love some input on this. Thanks.
So,
You go ahead.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, you go ahead, Micah.
Well, so the thing is that most of the community answers did a good job of answering kind of what tools there are out there for looking at your backlinks. The question is whether or not, let's see if he jumps in. Looks like he, for the most part, that looks good. Because there's terminology differences with knowing where your backlinks come from and mapping your backlinks. And I think the latter hasn't been talked about because none of those actually do a mapping. But I think he really meant kind of what, seeing his backlinks. And if that's the case, then all the answers of like the tools in there in the community was sufficient in my opinion. Yeah, because I'm not aware of any good mapping tool, just as an example, for seeing all your backlinks. At least not offhand.
I just noticed, Mikey, you get exceptional value for your haircuts, don't you?
Value?
Well, it'll be 3 months before you need another one, won't it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yes, so look, the other thing I think we should mention to Thomas Merrill, and tell me if I'm wrong, but really planning backlinking in order to do a better SEO. The reality is that if you can get a backlink, you're not going to worry about planning it. You just jump on the floor and prostrate yourself and thank God that you actually got one. There's no need for a systematic approach to backlinking. It's probably a bad idea because it's the random chaos that Google really loves. Is that a fair comment?
Yep.
All right, moving on to the next, and we have a question from Kane Jason. Is it a good idea to index tag pages in categories? I have created a new blogging website, hostforall.com, and he basically wants to set up requirements for Yoast or all-in-one SEO, I guess. Hello, Mr. Yonk, CEO of ideshost.nl.
Yeah, so, yeah, I generally don't think, for the most part, allowing tags or category pages to be indexed is a good thing. I think there are exceptions to those rules, but you need to be very diligent about it, particularly both tags and categories. I just think most of the time it's just not of value, and so you probably want to just no index them.
I think the easy way to look about this as well is, when was the last time that you saw a Google search result where Google returned a tag page, for instance, or a category page? In most instances, like Micah said, there's exceptions, but in the broadest sense, you don't tend to see tag URLs coming back and category URLs coming back in search results, because generally speaking, there's a better quality page somewhere on the internet, possibly even on your own domain, that matches the query in question. So, yeah.
It's a kind of search result page, isn't it?
Kind of. Yeah. And, Google generally say don't include don't allow Google to index search result pages. In a tag or a category page, you could, it's kind of similar, I suppose. It's not the primary content, for instance, anyway. It's a duplication of that in some form. But irrespective of that aspect of it, I just say, WordPress is prolific on the internet in terms of its publishing, its usage, and in general, despite the fact of its prolific usage, you tend to not see tag and category URLs coming back, which, in my opinion, is indicative of Google's, likelihood that it's a useful strategy in most instances. Probably isn't.
Okay. All right. I think we've covered this for Kane, Jason. But Kane, if we haven't, please feel free to ask it again on the SEO Questions community on Google+. John Pitcher asks an interesting question. He says, does using the menu information on each page have negative SEO implications? The terms he used were using the same footer or sidebar information. He said, if a website has a reasonable amount of unique information within the content area of each page, but has a largish footer or sidebar area where the customer's key selling points are repeated on each page, is that likely to have a negative SEO impact for my client's site? I deal with a lot of business startups who do not wish to pay extra for me to create individual targeted footers and sidebars for each page, but still wish to have their key selling points, type of customer served, etc., brought out in a visual way. As many of the inner pages can become landing pages, I don't want to just delete all of this info from the inner pages unless you guys think that it will damage the site as a whole.
Selling points.
Don't fight over it, guys.
You can have as many blogs as you want attached. It's just content. Ignore the fact that it's a blog for the moment and just look at it as if you're producing URLs on a website that has got content on it. Google doesn't care. If you've got 100 pages, 500 pages, 1,000 pages, 1 blog, 2 blogs, 10 blogs, to Google it's just a URL with content. Fill your boots.
Yep. Yes, I think I was going to say something intelligent there, but I really can't find it.
Look, the other thing I suppose that they're asking about effectively is, should we have 2 blogs from a separation standpoint or combine all content into 1 blog? Again, it doesn't really matter. So in the grand scheme of things, you could put it all through 1 blog, separate them with categories if you want to delineate between the CEO's content and any other stream of content, for instance, within the site. Whether, for instance, it was at yourdomain.com/CEO blog and yourdomain.com/some other blog, or if it was all just under the /blog with categories delineating the content, again, fill your boots. It's a convenience and an ease of maintenance thing for me, and less to do with 1 or 2 blogs, for instance.
Yeah, but I can imagine that you keep it separated for branding purposes or something. And I don't see problem there.
Yeah, you could do that, but you could still keep it separate from a branding standpoint, even with one blog. You can template different pages within your blog based on the category, for instance. Or you could install WordPress once and use the WordPress MU version, for instance, and then you've effectively got 2 blogs within one installation of WordPress, which you could template separately as well. Or just use one blog, one instance of WordPress without using WordPress MU, and then run different templates based on the category of the blog posts. So, yeah.
Okay, John, I hope that's been useful to you. Question 10 on our run list. We're struggling through these like swimming up a waterfall. This is a question from Women Outside the Box. Or did we jump onto this question? The 2 blogs attached to one website? Or not?
Yeah, we just talked about that. We skipped the former one because it was the same as the one before, I think.
Okay. All right.
We'll give Edwin something to do.
If somebody is watching this live and they click this on the questions page on the SEOquestions.com site, you'll have to scroll back about 2 or 3 minutes from the queue time that's there. I'll edit it tomorrow. Okay, so question 11 is from TechBlog Corner. Do URL shorteners pass link juice? For example, I've created a URL shortener for abc.com. Does that URL shortener pass link juice to abc.com? Any advice on this from Mr. Edwin Young?
Yes, at least most URL shorteners pass link juice in the form of a 301 redirect.
Yeah, if they're set up properly, right? I mean, if they do.
Yeah. It depends on the service you're using. I think a couple of years back there was one that used a 302. Got a little bit messy there. So, but most are use a 301, so that will be fine.
Yeah.
Are they using the 301 direct or through a non-indexed page? Or
no, the Google one. I gave the example, the Google.gl. That one serves a 301. It isn't blocked within robots.txt.
Yeah, good to know. I didn't know that one. So they don't block it, so it passes PageRank.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah, cool.
Of course, the Twitter one, which are used within tweets, have the nofollow tag. So
yeah, sure.
Not sure if they are blocked. I didn't check that one. I only checked Google's one.
I would assume they do.
Okay. Can I get a vote from the panel? Do any of you guys use URL shorteners in any circumstance?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next to none.
Okay.
Well, for analytics purposes, tracking purposes. I mean, sorry.
But did anybody, apart from the 301, measure somewhere like it's passing PageRank? Because I can imagine they block it somewhere.
I don't understand you, Rob. What do you mean? You mean if
someone tested it and measured it, that it's actually passing PageRank, because there are many more ways for Google to stop passing PageRank through shortener like GOOGL.
Oh, I tried in the past. Instead of using links, I mean URLs, and using shorteners, I mean shorten URLs, and it did. I mean, I did tests, but it depends on which URL shortener you're using. I mean, it could be like was said a minute ago, that if the provider, they start adding in between, it's going through intermediate page and it's blocked with a robust TXT, obviously it's not going to pass. So that requires testing. But you know what I mean. But to test now all these shortened URLs to figure out which one works, well, for me, I'm happy already when I hear that the Google GL does it. So the, how do you call it? Yeah, the Google one. So that's good.
Okay, so explain this to me in simple terms, because I'm a bit of a dummy. But my understanding would be that simply creating a shortened URL wouldn't help, because Googlebot wouldn't crawl the shortener, wouldn't be able to crawl the shortener. There's nothing for it to follow. So the URL, the shortened URL, would have to be pasted on a web page, and that would be where it draws its link power from. Or am I completely off the base there?
No, you're right. So something like Bitly, for instance, they're not blocked in robots.txt because the Bitly short links are bitly.com/fragment. So there's no way to block them because there's a billion different, you know, shortened URL versions, and they're not sitting under a folder like bitly.com/l/shortened fragment number. So they're all crawlable by Google. It's a direct 301 redirect, and there's no canonical meta HTTP response headers or anything like that attached to the redirect. It's just a redirect. So you're right, Jim. Creating a Bitly short link on its own isn't going to do anything for you. Creating a Bitly short link and then getting 1 million people to link to the Bitly short link, that 301's to your website, because you've produced an amazing presentation, for instance, and that was the short link you had in your presentation, and it's exploded virally. That's good, you know, but the short link on its own with no links pointing to the short link, useless, doesn't do anything.
But I really don't like using short links. I mean, because personally, maybe it's a personal thing, but I don't trust short links. You never know where that link is going to lead you to. And that is, again, another thing where I'm very cautious when using that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, John.
Even if you're using the Google one, I mean, on the one hand, if the user has no clue, he thinks, yeah, well, it's a link, it's done from Google, so we don't need to worry, but I do worry. I personally worry, to be honest.
I also like to know where I'm heading to.
Where I'm heading to, exactly. I mean, I'm talking user perspective now, but, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I rarely use it. So, I mean, the only time when I've used URL shorteners is when the URL.
Well, I use it. Yeah, I use it. For example, if I'm in a community with SEOs that they know me, and we're having like on Skype or like, you know, different communities, private communities, then I might like to know how many guys now clicked on the link and they come maybe to the place I wanted to ask them to have a look at or something like that. You know, like spying. But yeah. I wouldn't use that for public purposes if I have a better solution than using just the standard URL, you know.
Yeah, particularly since sometimes a lot of you have to be careful because some of the URL shortener data is public, so it will also tell others how many people are clicking through. So yeah, it's just one of those things to bear in mind.
All right. Okay. So Tech Blog Corner, I think that's what you're looking for. Anne DeVos asks, "Why are copying my content outranking me?"
Oh God.
He said, "This is a bit strange to me. If I do a search on the words Ollie Boo, a few top quality baby towels are essential for any mum, and this towel ticks all the boxes. My site ranks number 3 in the search engine results pages. Number 2 is a UK site, brackets we are in Australia, and number 1 is a local site. Clicking on the number 1 links only returns error 404 page not found. Now, considering that the words quoted are mine and have been copied by other sites, actually I checked on this, that many other sites, there's about 15 different versions of the same phrase. One of the sites is on the other side of the world, and the number 1 ranking returns an error. Why are they outranking me? Google made such a big deal about constantly changing algorithms to increase user experience, but that does not seem to be the case here.
Yeah, the UK side is showing because Australia decided to rejoin the United Kingdom. No. Just threw that one in there for you, Jim. Let's see. Yeah, look, Google's not perfect. There's generally reasons are your site might be considered of lower quality than that UK site. And that's always a problem. Well, I shouldn't say the site, I should say the page in some ways has gotten higher quality than yours, often due to your site. You'll often find that type of situation if you write something and an article basically copies the title verbatim. You'll find that often many of the news sites will rank up higher than you because they have a higher authority. So that's often kind of a problem. Depending then on kind of the longer term focus, if you're suddenly getting more of the links, then you're going to show up. But at the same time, this type of phrase is also very long tail. So it's not a very huge problem unless it becomes a larger problem when it's higher up the chain. As for kind of the error side, that may just be, I mean, there could be some nefarious activity, but it may just be that there was an error at the time and Google hasn't seen that error yet. So it's hard to determine without seeing the actual kind of results, which actually maybe I can kind of see if I do a search too.
Yeah, but the other question is, what I would look at is to look at the link profile, where are the links originating from? I mean, we had a case where a customer, he was a UK based and he was ranking in the US and he was not ranking in the UK as well. He was ranking very bad in the UK, but if you looked at his link profile, the majority of his links were coming from the US.
Yeah, that's a perfectly legit. Many
factors that we have to take into account before we say, well, I know Google is not perfect, but it would be a very, I would consider that like an excuse of a webmaster if he says he checked all the checkboxes, and that's my question: did he check his checkbox? Where is his links coming? Where are his links coming from, for example?
Yeah, but I would say that that is still an area of Google because the originator of the article is not ranking over others because of the heavy focus on the link side.
Yeah, he was scrapped, and he just needs to at least try the scrapper using the scrapper reports they recommended recently. I put it in the chat box, Jim.
Yeah, and that's what I more or less mean is that it's still there are many issues for why it may be occurring, and generally Google has issues still with that type of determination of originator today.
Well, Google also offered us the opportunity. We have to be thankful that they said, "Hey guys, well, add the author on the page, for example." I mean, it's not for all engines, but if it's coming to Google. At least when I publish an article, I want to make sure that I'm in the footer that I'm the author. Now, if I'm going to use Google Plus, maybe Google is going to take it, let's say, more into consideration. If I would put my name, John Brigios, and I put a link to my profile on LinkedIn, they would prefer, obviously they would prefer that I have the Google Plus one, but they're giving us all these opportunities that we can prove that we own the content, right? and I don't know. I mean, for example, guest blogging. Well, I don't do almost anything, but if I ever do something, I will slap in the HTML code. I will ask to add in the HTML code maybe the creation date with a hidden code. We call it hidden code, like Google says. I mean, something like that is not wrong. I mean, semantic markup, where, for example, if you, I can bring you a good example. There is geolocations, for example, latitude and longitude. So Google and the Webmaster guidelines, or their tutorials, or what do you call it, they say there, for example, for geolocations, you can have hidden code where you have the longitude and the latitude that is not visible in the browser, and they say that's fair. It's on their website. I mean, clearly stated. So there are some things that Google will not consider that you're trying to abuse or you're hiding any, I don't know, text or anything like that. And what I do is that if I'm going to do a guest blog, just to make sure if the site is not an authority site where it's being hit from Googlebot day and night, you know, like a high page rank website or something, and I put a blog post out there, I'm just trying to make sure that Google knows when they visit the page that it proves which data has been published. And then if I have my author beneath that, and I do then a scrapper report, with a scrapper report or whatever, the MCA or something, then I can prove that I am the originator and that's my content. Nothing is 100% safe, I agree, but it is at least that you can have some kind of backup of what you did and that you can prove Google, you know, that it's your content and that shouldn't be, you know, mistreated, put it this way. I don't know, I have, well, let me see.
All right, because we're up to question 12 and 2014 doesn't have a lot left to run, I think we should move on. So, Anne Vos, if that's not enough for you, please ask it again on the Dumb SEO Questions community on Google+. Akshay Naik asks, how can I earn dofollow backlinks for a hotel booking site?
Oh, sorry. How can I earn dofollow backlinks?
Alistair?
Get on Alistair's good side.
I don't know.
I mean, it depends what sort of hotel booking site it is. If it's an individual hotel, for instance, then you have got a whole raft of stuff that you can pursue from a local SEO standpoint. So sorting out all of those things like business profiles and all of the good quality directories, you know, the Google Plus, Google Local, Google My Business, whatever the hell they call it these days, listings to make sure all of that stuff links up nicely. Local niche websites or sites that are in the city, for instance, or area, state relevant to your hotel. Do fantastic things in general. Reach out to the people that might book with you, for instance, like your customers. Maybe they've got blogs. They might be writing about their holidays when they stayed with you anyway, and they just simply aren't linking to you. You know, go and do a search for your hotel, if it was a hotel, for instance, in Google, and have a look. There'll be thousands and thousands of websites probably referring to your hotel that don't link to you. You know, go and pick the best ones, maybe, and ask them to see if they'll link back to your website, since it's the official site for your hotel. If it's a general hotel booking site that's not related to an individual hotel, that's a little trickier because you know, you've got to have a value proposition that's better than all of the other online travel agents, for instance, or other hotel booking sites that you're competing with in your part of the world or city or whatever. So, you know, look at what your competitors are doing. If you're not doing it better than your competitors, then, you know, you'll probably find it pretty hard to get really great quality links. If you are doing it better than your competitors and you've got a fantastic site, great usability, it's easy to use, etc., etc., then maybe you need to just start doing great marketing. and start pursuing PR for your hotel website, or there's a litany of things. But this is just a standard link building problem to me. Produce amazing content for your hotel or hotel website, and then try and link build to that amazing content.
Yep. I'm looking at the question. I think he's more likely to be a website which has picked up a data feed from booking.com, and he wants to know how to get links to his site, which is carrying the same content as a 500,000 other websites, including one of mine. What could he do in those days, in those circumstances?
So the fact that he's potentially using booking.com in this instance, or someone else, for instance, for a data feed and booking services for his hotel site, in itself isn't necessarily a problem. Granted, all of the content that he's publishing is duplicated on the hotel pages, because there's lots of people that do exactly what you're doing. But the problem, or the solution to this still remains. You need to do something amazing. If all you're doing is spinning up an affiliate site of booking.com, why would someone link to that instead of linking to booking.com? There's no value proposition there. You might as well just link to the website that's well known, well respected, and it's got the same stuff on it. If, on the other hand, you're presenting stuff on your affiliate website that's really, really interesting, and you found some fantastic content to publish about hotels, then maybe people will start linking to you. Here's a ridiculous thing. You could go and pick, go and start producing content like what ranks on BuzzFeed, 101 blah blah blah, best 62 something or others. You won't believe this amazing blah blah whatever that something or other did when a cat threw up in their bedroom. God knows. The options are friggin' endless. But produce something interesting that's different, and then go and promote it online into some sort of a community or a group of people that are interested in that type of content. You could go and say most beautiful hotel pools, right? But except in this instance, go and find out if there's a particular manufacturer that produces spectacular pools at hotels, and then go and find 25 of the pools that this amazing manufacturer has installed in the most beautiful pools in the world that are at hotels. Collate all of that, and then go and reach out to the manufacturer of the pools, for instance, and maybe he'll link to your website because you've just collated a cracking list of all of his beautiful pools. I don't know, use some creativity. There's a lot of options.
Fair enough. I'm thinking of building a website to command the #1 position for New York hotels.
Well, I tell you,
also hummingbird out there.
If you could hit that, there'd be some money to be made. And when you do, send the Ferrari my way. Okay?
Okay, well, Akshay and Nike, I hope that conversation was useful to you. I have a question from Hari Babu, who asks about SEO tools to check the total site content. I think this is not really a question, but I'm sure you guys are going to give Hari a lecture. He asks, hi to everybody, could you please tell me, is there any tool or way to check the total site content? And moreover, my domain age is 90 days, and my Alexa rank is 8 million or something of 563, and the national rank is 49,000. I am seeing good results in Alexa, but the position in search results is decreasing. What should I do to maintain both Alexa and keyword positions?
Step 1, forget about Alexa. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Step 2, start thinking about your own website and what you can do to make it better. Who your customers are, you know, quality of your website, quality of your content, all of those things. But ignore Alexa.
Yeah, I mean, Alexa, if I have it right, is basically collected by the Alexa toolbar. So if you've got a website, you put the Alexa toolbar on your browser and you work on your website for a while, and all of a sudden your website improves on the Alexa ranking, and you become addicted to it. But it really doesn't mean anything. You cannot spend Alexa rank. That pretty fair?
Very fair.
Right. So Hari Babu, I hope you find that useful. Forget about Alexa, and what was the other thing, Alistair?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. But I missed I missed something up on that. No, I'm sorry. I apologise to all for that. Okay. Barbara Gilbert Interiors asks, will activity on Google Plus help my Google rankings?
Not directly.
No, only auto-rank will.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, man.
You're an evil, evil man.
Find this, man. I have to find this now. Come on.
Yeah,
We
not
had that-
that for the web. Personalized results is a little bit of a different story, but not for the open web.
Well, you can show up when you are logged in. I mean, or you may be found when you're logged in. But if you're not logged in, I mean, rankings. No. Let me see. I have something about that. So we keep it short. Let me see. Best to responsive design, localization. Let me see here. Web notes. Okay, okay, Google Plus influence. Okay, here we go. Influence. Come on, man. I will add my answer on the panel directly, okay? Let me see here.
So what John is saying is that you can always look at the questions that we answer on seoquestions.com. We keep a page for every question answered, and in some cases also supply reference links and follow-up responses. Okay, but I'm sure Barbara will want to hear a video clip on activity on Google+. All right, look, I'll try to say this. Your Google rankings will not be affected by posts that you make on Google+, other than the effect that's given by any other website. But Google is a reasonably high-ranking website, but your profile appears, your posts appear on your profile, and it depends on your popularity whether that profile page ranks at all, and that affects what is being passed out. But there's another benefit, and that is that posts that you make on Google+, people may go from your posts to your site because of something you've said about something that's on your site. And those people, the metrics that they lend to your site, whether if they stay a long time and they like the content and move to other pages, all that is good for you. And in that case, that will help your Google rankings. How am I doing so far, Al?
Yep, I think that's pretty about smack on.
Okay. And by the way, Rob Mars said that authorship will help. No, it won't. No, it won't. Okay. All right, Barbara Gilbert, I hope that's useful to you. Julius Parks asks, Julius Park, I should say, asks us a question. Does it benefit SEO to add more location keywords into the URL? He says, when dealing with multiple locations on a single site, just what I just said then, will Google favour a URL like doctors.com/locations/Maryland/Baltimore County/city over a URL like doctors.com/locations/city? In my real life example, locations outside of the state do not exist. But I'm contemplating adding in the state into the URL just to have the state name in the URL. Sure, that's a good plan, guys. What do you think?
I wouldn't bother. Like, I mean, hang on, let me rephrase that. Adding that into the URL itself. Like, if you've already got URLs that are like location, city, and they're ranking okay, for instance, adding an estate into those URLs for moving forward, or redirecting your existing ones all into the state, city style URLs, isn't going to suddenly give you some amazing boost in the search results. So if it makes sense to include state or region or city, for instance, in the URL to users looking at the URL in the search results, because it might help them give them relevancy to make sure that they know that maybe there's a Baltimore in another state, as an example, or some other city is duplicated multiple times across the US, and if you only had the city, that for some reason maybe customers might think that it's the wrong city, as an example, and including the state might help qualify that it's Maryland, Baltimore, not Baltimore, California, if that might exist, for instance, then add it. If that's not really something that's likely to happen, I don't think that you're going to see any ranking boosts, simply not in any meaningful way, simply for adding in that into the URL.
Okay, anybody else? All right, Julius, I hope that covers it for you. John Hallett asks, is a site still crawlable if there is email capture? More to this than meets the eye. Yeah, he said, I was wondering if a site is still crawlable if there is email capture from keeping the viewer user from being able to view or access the content. I hate those pop-ups that demand something from me before I can see anything.
Yeah, but they work.
Is it about captchas?
No. It's just going to throw up like a light box that says, please give me your email address, subscribe to my blah, blah, blah to view the content or proceed. It's not going to block Googlebot from
Well, I know one thing, I can tell that with 100% certainty. Several years back, I can't tell the exact time, I think it was 2010 or 2011, I don't remember. Google was sending us through our contact form emails, the bot. the website contact form. So I'm not sure if I understand the question, but I know that we were getting emails, and they were from Googlebot. I mean, we checked log files because it was crazy. We were not getting any text. We were just getting some kind of characters in the content and the comment box. So, and they were passing through. I had that discussion with Andy Beard that time. We were doing some stuff together, and it was happening, just a contact form. Now, if we're talking about CAPTCHAs, we're using on a website of a customer a CAPTCHA with very nice images where it has a number on it, on two websites basically, and we see these CAPTCHA, those characters. We can see them in the Google Analytics that they are being read. So I don't know now. I didn't really look at log files to say if it's Googlebot trying to do something or it was customers, but I know that the images have been read.
I think
You know
John's
what I mean?
talking
A normal GIF, you know, with a number on it, very clear number, very clearly so printed. You know what I mean? Like you see it now on the panel, like you see it now, just the number or a number in some letters, for example. So I don't know. I only know that they could pass the forms. They could pass us an email. Now about this CAPTCHAs, I can't tell 100%. But if we're not talking about CAPTCHAs, then I'm not getting something.
No. I think John Hallett is talking about using just an email, like a JavaScript pop-up, John, to as an email list building tool. He's not talking about using reCAPTCHA, as in the enter the letters and numbers to prove that you're a human. He's just saying, I want to pop up a little form, ask someone for their email address to subscribe to my email list, and will that somehow impact Google? No. Google will still crawl your site.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's consider that one answered for John Hallett, and answer a question for Yanis Anastasiou, who asks a question basically, how does the Google algorithm work, in essence? Yanis asks, I'm new at SEO and I have one question about the way the Google algorithm works. In the case that website A has a ranking of 4 while website B has a ranking of 2, will the link from website B to A actually have a negative effect to A and vice versa? Will a link from many websites type B to only one website type A have any positive effect on the type B website? Thank you in advance.
I can answer the question in Greek, if you want. I speak fluent Greek, and I just want to say Yasu Yani. I just want to say hello. Okay.
I can say Yasu Ray with the best of them, mate.
Yeah, I speak fluent Greek. I lived there 18 years, man. Yeah, cool. Anybody wants to answer? I mean, it's very simple.
Yes, so linking from any website to any website in itself, in most instances, isn't going to negatively impact you. The website that's linking, for instance, if the web page that's being, or the website that's getting linked to, obviously is going to benefit from that link. If it's a link that passes PageRank, you can stop the PageRank flowing across the link by adding a rel nofollow to that link if you don't want it to pass PageRank for whatever reason. But simply linking from A to B or B to A isn't going to sort of negatively hurt, for instance, the site that's got the link on it in virtually every instance. There's some exceptions to that where you're linking to irrelevant websites, porn websites, things that are completely irrelevant. If it's a paid link or Google thinks it's a paid link, for instance, and it violates their webmaster terms, you know, there's things like that where, yes, it could. But if it's a relevant link that's a good link for users, in general, it's not going to hurt you for linking to any website. To the last question, will links from many websites like Type B to only Type A have a positive or negative impact? Yes. That's one of the primary things that Google uses to still rank websites. How many links from good quality, related, relevant websites matters a lot. So if website A was to get a lot of links from good quality websites like Type B that were relevant to Type A, Type A website is going to go up in the rankings.
I think he was asking a mathematical question in that, though, in the first part of the question, I think he was asking whether a PageRank 2 page linking to a PageRank 4 page could that negatively
talk about PageRank.
lower the amount.
Oh. Alistair?
The PageRank 2 page can only benefit the PageRank 4 page. Doesn't matter that it's lower. Anyway,
well, I think you're right, Jim. I think you're right. You cannot reduce PageRank only in a corner case. You cannot increase or decrease it. Like if you are PR10, you cannot go any higher. So that's, but you cannot get lower.
Does Google give PR10s? I heard that PR8s are the equivalent of PR10s. Google uses PR8 to denote PR10 websites to confuse people.
Well, internally they use 0 to 1, so that 10 is just for the PageRank tool as an example.
Okay.
But while we're talking about PageRank, I just want to add here that if there is a link out there pointing to my website, and that website who is linking to me is a PageRank 10, and it's a link that, like Alistair said, that it seems like it's a paid link, I rather wouldn't have that link. I think because he's new in SEO, Ioannis Anastasiou, Yannis here, I think he probably believes also that PageRank is maybe the magic bullet for rankings or something. And I think that maybe that's something we need to explain here, that PageRank is not about having higher PageRank means that he's going to rank better because he has higher PageRank. I just wanted to not to clarify that. So, I mean, somebody can have a PR6 website and he can be ranking, I don't know, number 3, and number 2 could be ranking somebody who has PageRank 2, and there could be somebody ranked number 1 and he has only PageRank 1. So, I just wanted to clarify this because it's new. It's not PageRank that if you have higher PageRank means you're going to beat your competitors if you have a higher PageRank if you didn't click on all the other checkboxes of Google's algorithm. And it's not one algorithm. I mean, they have, like Matt Katz recently said, there are 500 different factors. And PageRank is just one of them, put it this way. Yeah. And I would be very cautious.
Rob Mars said in the chat, no PageRank and no author rank. What's left? His world is shaking. Okay, Yannis, I hope that's been useful to you. Here's one from Mike Cook on anchor text links. He said, I have a question. The scenario is as follows. You have a site with a few links placed over the past year for a site. The sites are not bad where the links are coming from, but you know the way that the person has placed the links, this would have triggered spam filters, as the anchor text is way too specific and there are no noise links around it. Also, the terms used in the anchor text are having a negative effect on the search term used, not the site, just the term. You have removed the links and the anchor text from the linking sites, but you do not have Webmaster control I suppose he means Google Webmaster Tools control over these sites. My question is, what is the best way to get Google to relook or reevaluate the linking sites to see that the links have been removed and return the main site being SEO'd back to a good state? From what I have read, it could take a long time, and the rest of the site is doing very well. Just a handful of terms are being affected, so this just needs not ironing out.
Okay, I have to reread
But
this.
you can't really make Google crawl something. You know, they crawl stuff, you know, on their own volition, basically based on their perceived importance of those websites. So, you know, really big, really important sites get crawled most regularly and most comprehensively. Weaker, less important websites get crawled less frequently and less comprehensively, which makes a lot of sense. So if you've got links and you've taken them down off weaker websites, you just have to wait, because essentially, because it could take Google a little while to go and discover or recrawl those sites to understand that those links are no longer present. This is also one of the reasons why the getting out of a link penalty from Google is also quite a time-consuming process in a lot of instances, because it takes quite a while for Google to recrawl everything and then reprocess all of the link graph data to ultimately remove a penalty that might be present on your domain. So there's no, on a large, I mean, in this particular instance, it's only a handful of things. You could share all of the pages, for instance, in Google Plus that you've had links removed from, because Google will recrawl those pages to share the URL inside Plus. Whether that particular action is sufficient for Google to also, you know, rediscover that the links aren't there and push those pages into the indexing pipeline, I don't know. But yeah, you know, generally speaking, there's not a lot that you can do. Be patient, basically.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Alistair. Harry Dance has a question for us. Do RSS directories work? So I'm interested in the answer to this too. Harry says, I have a question. It's pretty basic, so please try and stay with me on this one. Are there any RSS directories out there which actually work? And by work, I don't mean in SEO terms, i.e. giving a site authority, although that would be nice. He says, I mean to actually produce relevant visitors to the website or blog. He said, I have come across alltop.com, but I was hoping there would be a few more. Like I said, I just want to generate more relevant visitors. Thank you for your help, as per, it is much appreciated. Thank you, Harry.
Well, there are RSS sites out there, and if you're looking to find relevant, I mean really relevant, I would recommend to have a look, to do a search and find niche RSS directories. For, I mean, if you really want relevant, not just shooting it up on any place, any RSS, there are thousands or millions, I don't know, and just slapping it up there. Most of the times I experienced people had got damages instead of getting any kind of benefit. Like they were RSS feeds, you didn't have the option to set it up like that. You only show a snippet, that they were showing the whole article and stuff like that. So I mean, very short question would be to look for a really relevant RSS directories. But now to find something, do a search in Google, in my opinion. I mean, you know your niche. Generate, yeah, visitors.
All right, Harry, I hope that answers it for you. If you guys can think of any that you can add as links to this question, that would help. Artur Pelvanov asks, does Google check a domain's Whois details? Arthur goes on to say, good day, colleagues. For example, if two websites hold top rankings in the same category in a local market, website A ranks number 1, website B ranks number 2. Company A buys company B. Now, website A and website B are owned by the same person or company, and both domains Whois information becomes the same. What will Google do if two top-ranking websites in the same market become owned by the same person or company? He goes on also to say, is it safer to have a private domain registration? Do privately registered domains, in other words, domains that have domain privacy enabled and don't show who the real owner is, do privately registered domains affect SEO rankings?
Well, number one, Google is a domain registry, so don't have any hopes that you can hide that you are the owner of site B. That's number one, just to clarify. So if you're using that privacy thing, well, I use privacy only because I don't want to be spammed to death. And the other question was, sorry, my question is...
Two websites by the same person.
No, it doesn't affect rankings. I mean, there were a lot of rumors, and I think I know where Arthur is coming from. There were a lot of rumors that if you're hiding your identity in the Whois, it could have an impact on your rankings because Google doesn't know that you're the owner. I mean, this is just some rumors were going around in the past years, but that's not true because Google is a domain registry. So that is something that I wouldn't care about. You can do what you want. You can hide them privately or whatever. And second, I don't see a reason why you should hide from Google that you own the company A and you own the company then also B. You can have multiple websites when they are unique. I mean, the websites, and you're not setting up for exactly same thing, the same, let's say, service, and you go out there and you throw like 100 websites or 50 websites, like for the same owner. Well, Matt Cat said a while ago that, well, if you have a little network of your own of websites, I mean, up to, I think he said, he brought an example, 10 websites, that is fine. And we're working with, for example, currently with a customer that has 4 websites, and he's selling the same product on all those sites with different domains, 100% unique content, everything is unique, nothing related to each other, maybe a little bit of interlinking between the sites when it would make sense, I mean, relevancy, but in this case, I mean, I don't see absolutely any problems.
Excellent. Anybody else? Okay, Arthur, I hope you're happy with that. Here we have a question from Liam Nguyen. Liam asks, do a subdomain and a subdomain have to be the same topic or niche? He said, good day, guys. Thanks for taking the time to read my question. You're welcome, Liam. I have actually asked this question on other forums several days ago, but haven't really got a satisfactory answer. I've been fortunate to find this community with many SEO experts, which gives me some hope. Now, right away, you've got to give Liam credit for having the acumen to figure out where he is. Anyway, Liam goes on to say, so here's my question. He said, I have a new website, let's call it mainsite.com, about travel. On this website, I will be writing articles about travel and holidays. My question is, if I create a subdomain such as blog.mainsite, and on this subdomain I share all sorts of different topics, especially sharing viral stories and videos on YouTube, will this have any negative side effects in terms of SEO, Google ranking, reputation, etc., on my main travel website? Look, I won't attempt to read the rest, guys, because he wants to explain why, but I'd ask you to read question 22 on your run list, and if you're following along at home, you can see it on the SEO Questions community on Google+.
Well, I don't know if you guys heard about in the UK, they have there is a company, and their domain, they're registered as UK.com. So, and we have a customer who purchased from those guys. He thought it was a top level domain, and at the end it turned out, he didn't even know it until he met us, that he got a subdomain from that company, right? So, and it's like, for example, mainsite.uk.com, right? So, and these guys have hosted endless of subdomains, and there are endless of websites in the UK using that UK.com, which they're all independent from each other, but they're all subdomains. So to the question, very straight, I mean, this is a good example that it doesn't matter. You can have multiple subdomains and you can have them completely to be irrelevant to your main site, but as long you're not linking from your main site to those subdomains. Because you can set up, for example, they're also out there like, I don't know, Wikia, I think, or there are different, okay, that's not a good example because they're not using subdomains, but I don't remember some cases like hub pages or something where you can register an account and you want to put content up there, or and then you have a subdomain like subdomain.main site or something, but they're all unrelated to each other. So there is no problem with that. I mean, only if you're linking from your main site to those subdomains. Well, that's where it starts could affect you. But if you're still linking to those, to the subdomain, well, maybe you have a section on the subdomain on one of those topics you have about hotels, travel, or what did you say here? So holidays. If you're linking from your main site, but directly to that article or something, that would be something different. But if you are, if you're linking to the subdomain, then just in general, directly just to the subdomain itself, I would put a nofollow. I mean, but I wouldn't suggest to do all this stuff, what's being said here. I mean, I would prefer to have everything on a separate domain. But if it's already done, you just make sure that you're not linking to it from the main site.
If I'm reading between the lines, he's asking this because he wants loads of traffic to his website.
Loads of traffic to his website.
Seems that that is the reason why he wants to start a blog which has nothing to do with his main site. And I don't think that will help him.
I mean, it's loads of traffic, but coming from where? That's the question.
From social media, because it will be something like jumping in on all those viral.
So it's not going to be anything like he's trying to rank or something to get the traffic through the rankings. He's trying to do that through social media.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, if it's really, really, really the case, if I was in that position and I didn't care that about the search engine when it comes to the subdomain, and I have other channels that I can bring in traffic and all that stuff, and without maybe indirectly affecting my main site, I mean indirectly, I'm not saying that it should be, but because it's under one domain and it's the same site owner, you don't know, Google, I don't know, I can't tell, but I'm a little bit cautious on that. Just put Googlebot, user agent Googlebot, disallow / for the subdomain. And on the subdomain, don't let access to the engines to access the subdomain, and let access only to all other channels, YouTube or I don't know, I mean, let everybody else come in just with a robots.txt to block Googlebot, sorry.
Yeah, but I think he wants to create a volume of visitors to push his own main website up in the rankings. That's what I read in it.
Yeah, but if he's saying unrelated in terms of SEO, Google rankings, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't personally, right? I mean, I wouldn't. I'd rather would create another domain. I mean, put it on an extra domain and do something and have different categories. And if he has a category for travel and holidays, and he does some nice blog post or something, and he wants to, you know, link to his website, yeah, that might be okay, but I wouldn't suggest throw that under one domain if he owns the domain and the subdomains. I mean, it's not going to be real, like I said, it's not risky, but I don't know now how Google will treat it, like diluting the relevancy just because of the association of both in some way, because they're under one domain. Under one domain doesn't really matter because I said uk.com, and then there are all those subdomains. You understand? But I'm thinking because it's the same owner, maybe, I don't know how Google will treat that, but I don't see it very impressive, the idea, put it this way. But risk, like I said, I don't see a risk if he follows what I would do, what I said. 90% of but I didn't read the whole. More than 90% of the traffic of the subdomain blog is from social media. Yeah, subdomain blog topic has nothing to do with my main site niche.
He just wants visitors to boost his main site, and I don't think that will work. But
yeah, well, what I understand is he's trying to promote his domain name somehow, right? I mean, that's the way I understand. Because if the blog is completely unrelated, it's just that he's thinking that, okay, somebody came to the subdomain and then he removed in the browser, I mean, in the URL, he just took out the subdomain and the user pressed enter, and then he comes to the holiday site, you know, to the main site, to the holiday topic. So, from my perspective, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I don't see any problems with being punished. I mean, punished, what means punished? Filtered. Like I said, if he's not linking from the main site to the subdomain, it's not a problem. But if it's the overall picture, if there is a dilute of relevancy, or it will be down the road that, because Google said a while ago, for example, if you had 3 websites and one of your websites was doing spam, and recently it was on search on Barry Schwartz on his site on the blog. John Mueller said it, I think, that it could happen that if you have one website that is penalized and you're the same owner of another website, that could have an impact also on your other sites, even if you're not linking to each other. And I think somebody mentioned today at the beginning of the Hangout. So I'm not very sure if it would be wise.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see the value in it, and
yeah,
particularly
that's what I mean. Yeah.
If it's an unrelated niche, how's that going to work? Yeah, if it's unrelated to his main site, how's it going to contribute traffic to his main site?
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. So I thought maybe it's only because of his domain that people just remove the name of the subdomain and then they press enter and then they're on the main site. But I don't know that happening.
A made for AdSense website, and he's just afraid that it could hurt his main website. I don't know.
Well,
what do you think, Edwin?
Yeah, Edwin is the expert here. Tell us, man.
Well, he was reading a report that a domain went from a couple thousand to 21 million. So I asked him about that, and he didn't reply.
Redirecting to a board Panda.
Within 6 months to 21 million visitors. I want to see that report.
Well, if you check an SEO Rush, Wikia has much more. Why don't you just go and set up something on Wikia? I would ask the user now. Wikia, they have millions, and you can go out there and put something on Wikia, set up a category, and try to gain the traffic you want. But to me, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, honestly. I mean, in no way. And if the answer is if you're going to be punished, they'll link from the main site to the subdomain, and you're good.
No, I think he was misinformed. But well, he didn't give me the opportunity to look at where he was misinformed.
Okay.
All right, Liam, I hope that has been of some use to you. I'm sorry we didn't reach a conclusion, but look, if you'd like us to continue to discuss it next week, please add a new question onto the Dumb SEO Questions community on Google+. Adam Downey is looking for a weather report from us. He wants to know, have anyone's rankings just plummeted for just a few keywords? One of my main phrases improved significantly at the end of June from page 4 to 2, but in the last week it has just plummeted to page 6.
Okay, there were some kind of probable updates on the 28th of June and 5th of July. They're not confirmed from Google, but there were some kind of movements where some webmasters will start complaining, and I will put the link in here if you want to slap it in, Jim. So if it's related to that date, maybe that needs to be taken into consideration, but it's not officially confirmed, right? I think. Let me see. I don't see there was no. My organic of my blog dramatically increased. Some are talking about increases, some may talk about breaking apart. A small update, unconfirmed update that happened on June 27, 28, and there will been an update this weekend on July 5th. Ja, ich kann nicht mit Chinesisch mit Mama, ne? Yeah, and what means what last week has plummeted to page 6. Yeah, it could be a kind of, maybe they were updates of some kind of algos or something, but not necessarily. It could be other reasons. I mean, were there any changes on the website, or are there any new link building activities, new links coming in? There could be multiple factors that a drop can happen. That could happen anytime without any updates of algorithms, right? So this is a very generic question.
Converted by an algorithm with a name. They don't like to be hit by an algorithm that.
I mean, I said not an update. It doesn't necessarily need to be an update. Yes, correct. So plummeted to page 6. Yeah, well, we don't have any, it's not enough of information that we can really say something, you know, it's very generic. Our main phrases improved significantly at the end of June. Yeah, the main phrases, yeah, well, it's very generic. I mean, I'm cautious giving any more further information on that without knowing.
All right, well, let's call a halt to that one for Adam. I hope that's been helpful to you, Adam, though.
Well, if Adam can add some more, more information on the panel, for example, on the SEO dump questions, if he can start the question again and give more information, more details, then somebody can have a look, you know.
Okay. Question 24.
He had a second question about the duration of his visitors, and he must realize that if somebody bounces, he gets 0 seconds. So that will drop his average time on the homepage considerably, since he has 80% bounce.
Oh. And is that question lower down or somewhere, or is that on the?
Is that on the comments, Rob? Is it?
No.
Did he answer ask another question?
No. We are at question. What is it? Question 26, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, no, we're currently on question 23.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Well, look, yeah, Adam Downey, I hope that proves useful to you. Here's a question from our very good friend Lucas Regala. Lucas is from Poland, I'm fairly sure. Poland? Anyway, I think so. He wants to know if Googlebot is indexing iFrames now, and he provided a link which can be seen on the SEO Questions community on Google+, and invites us to check the second result. So in a nutshell, even if you don't look at that link, is Googlebot indexing iFrames, and if so, to what extent?
Googlebot, for sure, they can read iFrames. Now, if they're indexing an iFrame, let me see.
I imagine that result number 2 is the demonstration that they are indexing the iframe. Which, if they are, I think that's a bad thing, because most webmasters use iframes so that we don't put crap into the index. I mean, invariably, something that's confined in an iframe is something that really doesn't have an anchor to the site. It's usually like a scrap of content that may not necessarily be useful to the user when it's presented by itself. So I don't know why they're doing that, if that's what they're doing.
Well, that's what they're doing, obviously. An iframe is not frames like HTML4 frames. This is not a frame. This is it's a website. So it doesn't necessarily mean in the iframe, or there was included in the iframe the whole page, where he was targeting to, it was indexed, but it doesn't mean now that Google, it could happen that Google could index it too. I mean, if the whole page is in the iframe, they can pick it up and they can show it up in the search results. I don't see any problems there, but iframe itself is not being indexed. I mean, that's not possible. iFrame is a HTML element. It's just a part of a page. It's like somebody's telling me I have content on a page in a div, and a div in a div, and Google indexed it only the part of that div. That's not the case. So here what's going on is, or he had a link in the iframe to that page, or he had the whole page in the iframe. With the doc type, from doc type down to where the HTML closes. iFrames itself, that cannot be indexed. And I clicked on the link and it's it's sending me to a real page, a blog page, I think. So it's normal that this is indexed. Or this page could have been, for example, has some links pointing to it. Google discovered this website and they indexed the page, But it's not that Google can index iframes. That's physically not possible.
Okay, well, let's move on from that. We thank Lucas for his question. Actually, I think Lucas was the one, the man, the SEO expert that told me that penguin has been strangled and buried in Charleston Park in one of the Google car parks.
But I don't think he was putting in something in the iFrame. I think someone else put his website in the iFrame.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So to overcome that, you can use the header option X frame option same origin. I think Google respects that. Not sure about that one. But
Yes. Yes.
at least then it won't load. I think it was because it's the second result that gives you the iframe. They only do a top banner. The rest is just the iframe.
Okay.
Okay, I see. But yeah, but yes, I see what you mean. The second link. Well, yeah. Well, that must be an iframe on that page, right? I think. Positional link. Yeah, it looks like no, it's not an iframe. There it is.
Jim, do negative SEO spammers use this technique, or do you have experience with that?
Interesting.
I haven't seen them do that, no.
Okay.
Body ID frame set, lang PL. Right. Well, this is it looks like a standard page that has an iframe and including his pages in it. If I get it right. You know, I'm looking at the second one. HTML transitional content type, viewport, device. Yeah, this is something tricky, but
at least he is ranking above that, so that's a good sign.
Well, yes, absolutely. Yeah, but pretty tricky. Bootstrap. Bootstrap. Cool. But I can't see the frame here. That's the weird thing about it.
How about we leave Lucas's question, and we've got two before the end to clear up.
It's kind of JavaScript. It looks like it's an iframe, but created with JavaScript, Edwin. Style sheet and then JavaScript. Top location equal location, location href document, location href. Body ID frame set. Identifier function window entrance. Well, it's certainly a kind of framing, that is for sure. But
anyway, look, guys.
Okay, sorry. Well, this is a bit.
We want to finish this one before the year is out, if we can. All right, moving on to question 25. Question 25 is a question from Anuj Kumar Singh. Is a free tool available to check competitors' Facebook advertising? He said advertising inside, like Facebook ads and ad posts, etc. Thanks.
I'm not aware of anything like that. Facebook, if you use different external tools like EdgeRank Checker and such things, you have to have a manager rights to a page on Facebook to be able to monitor. They have to be your clients, or you have to be yours, and you have to be a manager. But to dig into Facebook and their insights, I'm not aware of something like that. It would be beautiful, but I don't think it exists. On 910.
Okay, Anuj Kumar Singh, unfortunately we regret to advise that we don't know of anything like that. Here we have question 26 on your run list, guys, from David Jones, Panda 4 Solutions wanted. He goes on to say, I have a site that was hit very hard by Panda 4. The bounce rate is higher, about 80%, and so I've been looking at the data for when people are on the site and the engagement, etc. And I'm puzzled about the data I'm seeing for average session duration, average time on page, and session durations. The average session duration is 1 minute 3 seconds, and over 50% of the page views apparently had session durations of 0 to 10 seconds. Yet the average time on page is 3 minutes and 9 seconds. I went through the top 250 viewed pages, which was by far the vast proportion of the site's traffic, and not a single one of them was below 1 minute 20 seconds. So why are the numbers for the session durations so low? I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Rob Mars was having a cup of coffee. He would eat a question like this for breakfast. I hope he comes back soon.
I will see if I can find a quick template to add to the Google Analytics reporting template. Let me see if I can share one. I think here. And customization. Conversion by keyword, content. I think this one. I'm not sure. No. Social actions. Traffic, page unique, organic analysis, keyword analysis, host name. Internal site search, no. Let me see, where do we use that one? Okay, content efficiency analysis. Well, maybe, okay, so let me go back and let me save this link. Yeah. Share link. It's really hard to give answers to such questions without seeing ourselves the Google Analytics, but Jim, I'm gonna put a link here that there is a way maybe he will like this to add to his customized reports, and have a look if that will make any sense to him. Entrance.
You're adding that onto the SEOquestions.com site, John?
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just no time.
I was just thinking mathematics. I'm not an analytics expert by any stretch of the imagination, but if his 50% of his pages are 0 seconds or a little bit more, but the average time on the page is 3 minutes. Surely, if 50% are 0 seconds or close to that, that would mean that the average session duration is a little bit less than 1 minute 30 seconds. So, just thinking about it mathematically, it would seem.
Well, no, you're right. You don't need to be an expert for that. Yes, you're right. I mean, I don't remember exactly how many words I was reading about recently. I don't remember how many words an average people can read on a page. I certainly have to search to find that link, but well, if he has some pages that users went there and they didn't read the whole article and they just wrote the intro, and then the intro there was a link and it was pointing maybe to another article on the site or to an external site or to another page on the site or something, and they didn't read the whole article, for sure that would reduce the time of being on the page. You understand? There are many reasons. Or he started reading and he felt like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Or the next one comes and by how he came there, it was somewhere a misleading anchor text somewhere, and he clicked on the link and he came there, and that link was saying something about, I don't know, how to repair shoes, and then he comes there and he sees the title there is talking about, I don't know, social media. You know, and that could be also a reason that the user will go. So that will reduce the time of being on the page, right? There are different reasons for that, right? So, but I think the user here is concerned about being hit very hard by the Panda. Well, looking alone at the bounce rate is not now the key of the whole Panda thing. I mean, there are other factors involved for Panda. So if you think that because of that your visitors are not staying too long on a page or something like that, it is probably something you have to look at, but there must be other reasons involved. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do exactly. But all I was trying to point out was that if you've got 1,000 pages and 500 of them have a session duration of 3 minutes, and
Yes.
500 of them have a session duration of 0 seconds, then surely it's reasonable. The average session duration is 1 minute 30 seconds or less, so therefore, you know, this figure of 1 minute and 3 seconds for the average session duration, it's not unreasonable.
No.
I think that you're absolutely right. He has to look elsewhere for a Panda solution.
Well, I mean, for example, if he has poor content, I mean, everybody writes content, but who really writes content that Google appreciates? And Google appreciate content that users appreciate. And we had an example. We had a customer. We still have him. He was writing every week 3 or 4 posts on his website, and he was, you know, he was talking about the freshness factor, and he was saying, yeah, Google likes fresh content, and he was just slapping in every second, third day new articles, and he went up to about, in a very short time, and I don't know, within a year, 800 new pages. But what he was writing was just nobody cared about, you know, and he was just writing because Google likes fresh content, you know. I mean, these are questions where we have to look into. If you're writing content just because the search engines want fresh content, and you're writing and stuff that people know nobody cares, it's obvious that Panda is going to come in and it's going to fix you up. It's obvious, right? That's one case, right? Or if you're writing content which, for example, you don't take in consideration readability, we call it. That's another algorithm of Google which is included in the Panda. Readability, that people just slap a page and they just have big of text, not keyword density. I'm talking just big blocks, like blocks, you know, of text, where users, when they're reading, they have to go, even if they don't suffer from dyslexia, that they have to go back and read again the sentence so they can continue, that it's confusing. I mean, that's readability. That's also a major factor. We saw many sites like that. We are dealing all the time with such kind of stuff. So if you have pages that are not visited, that you don't have any people visiting, or if they visit, they just run away. There is no interaction, no engagement, nobody adds comments, and they're just dead pages hang out there just to tell Google, you know what? I have more keywords that I have on my website. I have also on my blog some more keywords that I couldn't fit them on my website, so I created this article to have those keywords. If that is a strategy being done, what we did with our customer, he had 800 posts or something, and we took them down to 4. And all the rest, he lost money spending that money, but they were not entirely only useless. He was smashed from the Panda. Okay, he had other issues too, where it was Penguin, bad links coming in, but no links going, for example, to those pages. Nothing, dead end, you know. So that is something that I think I would need to emphasize here. And then if you are certain that your quality of content is good and it's engaging and it's attractive and everything like that, then that would be the last step that I would go and start counting bounce rates within the website. From experience now, not theory or talking of Googlers or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, sure. I just wondered who the author was that had 800 pages of useless content. That wasn't Matt Cutts, was it?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't need Matt Cutts. I mean, we know also the Panda. I mean, at least we SEOs, we know we know a lot of stuff that Matt Cutts or Müller doesn't tell us that we have to figure out ourselves, right? And there are the patents out there. So if you know which patents are related to Panda, and you study the patents and you're a little bit technical, I mean, not everybody is technical, but I'm very technical, right? And I'm reading the patents, then I can tell what kind of techniques Google is using and what bothers and what doesn't bother and that stuff, right? So, but just for the plain user perspective, if the content is not for users, it's for search engines, and you see that they're not bringing any traffic or not attracting no links or attracting no people to get involved, to get engaged, to discuss, and all that stuff, we recommend clean them up. And on the other hand, the good thing about it is if you have such kind of massive amount of pages, all those pages need PageRank to stay in the index of Google. So that means you're also diluting PageRank. Diluting PageRank, and you're weakening the pages where your lucrative, how do you call it, pages, let's say your service pages, the one, you know, you're promoting your product. You're weakening those because the PageRank, when it comes in, it's going to be shared throughout the site. When you start cutting down the size of the site and cleaning up, let's call it garbage, no offense, I'm just saying if they are, removing those pages, that page rank will stay on the site, but it's going to move to the other pages which you really want to rank. You really want them to be frequently crawled, and you understand what I mean? That will increase also your crawl ratio, right? So, and you have the advantage that if you have more power in terms of page rank, you have also a very nice, I would call it, defense against scrappers. That's also, if I take it into detail. So, well, that's all I can say without seeing the site, and with this short comment here, I think I hope I covered everything so far I could, outside of also what you said about the bounce rate.
Okay. I think that's...
Should I put that link you said into the, how to say it, into the panel there? That, let me put that link in there.
Okay. Rob Mars, I hope you've enjoyed your coffee, mate. We're on question 26. It's a Panda 4 analytics question. Do you have anything to add before we move on to the news?
No.
Did we tell that the average, what was it, average session duration are multiple pages? So basically it comes down to math.
The math doesn't add up exactly, of course, for his website, but it's something he should take in consideration, that if he has 80% bounce, then he will always have a low time of visit.
I think the question was between average time on page versus the average session duration. And the session duration are for multiple pages. And I think that is why, what was low? not a single.
It could be also.
And he was wondering why that session duration was so low, but the session duration is for multiple pages.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they
So
don't add up. It is not like you can add up all the average time on pages, and then you have the session duration. You have
And
to
then you also
define.
maybe have to take into consideration the loading time of the individual pages. I added in the panel, I think it goes public, you said. So I put a template there I found a while ago. I'm using it frequently, where it says also page technical efficiency, where you can see the loading time. Maybe there could be many reasons. It's if we don't have the site in front of us, we cannot really tell. But these tips, I think, is a good start to look into. I think average load time of pages, page load sample. Also, if there are any traffic coming directly from organic searches in this template, there's some very interesting insights to look at.
Okay.
Bounce rate. Yeah, correct. People get obsessed with bounce rate. That's the problem, which people really misunderstand that bounce rate, or it's nothing that I really care about, to be honest. Okay.
Not really, if you're not able to see how long somebody was on your. Not really can see how long somebody was on your.
Well, there are some cases, Rob, where we see in Google Analytics that somebody was sitting on the page for 4 hours. So you think that somebody was really reading 4 hours? They just leave the browser open and they go, for example. You know.
It times out after 30 minutes or something.
It does. It does. Okay. Okay. Well, I saw though in the analytics, I mean, that it shows hours.
That's probably yourself.
Maybe it's
They're
myself.
amazed at your own site.
Oh my God. Then we can decrease the session time, man. You know.
Yeah. If that would be a ranking factor, it isn't.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. But it's not a ranking factor. We have to say that there is maybe something else which might be considered as a ranking factor, but that is not certainly. It's not. I put a link anywhere before in here, where it's bounce rate. Bounce rate, where it relates to rankings, is when somebody is coming from the search results to your website, and then bang, he goes back and he does another search again. He repeats the search and he clicks on the next one. That is an algorithm there where we cannot confirm that it's in place, but I believe that it should. And if there would be something about bounce rate, that's going to be the one that the search engine will look at, and not in the internal one necessarily. I mean, right?
You must always try to remember that if there is a ranking factor in the algorithm, then at least 10 to 20 engineers about it and thought about it twice and perhaps 3 times, those are between the small that they could hire have thought about it.
Yeah.
So
yes. I did here. So next question, or
well, we've actually.
the
I didn't think. Oh, sorry. Am I muted? No, I'm not muted.
no?
Okay.
Good.
So, all right. We've reached the end of our questions. Good job, guys. I didn't think we'd make it tonight. So now we move on to our weekly news roundup. Each week we add items of interest to the SEO news community on Google+, and then hopefully we get time to look at them through the week, and then we discuss them and allocate them a page on the dumbseoquestions.com site. The first news item this week is titled Matt Cutts is going on leave. I think he's going from now until certainly through the end of October. And he's passed question answering to Google's Webmaster Central forums. Well, I think that's called abrogation of responsibility. Anyway, he's gone, and yeah, well, good luck to those lobbing on the Google Webmaster. I was on the Webmaster forum the other day, and I just reminded me of why I don't go there much anymore.
Yes.
Anyway, guys, what are your comments on Cutts going on leave? Was it burnout? Did he decide that things weren't working? Because everybody else could see that we really lost our way in the spam fighting team. He said that we shouldn't be concerned because all of the members of the spam fighting team could fight spam better than he could. Well, Matt, in my opinion, anybody could.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't want to kick a bloke when he's down, but...
Well, okay, if we want to take it to the level of paranoia, which yesterday I was sitting here and thinking, because we're having several customers that they have been hardly smashed from the Penguin, and they're all now waiting because everything is set and everything is working now, and only the Penguin needs to come and everything is sorted out. I was thinking yesterday, just laying in the bed, and I was thinking, could it be that Matt disappeared because they are planning to delay the Penguin, that they're not ready for the update what they want to do, and that they're moving it to October? Paranoia now. Hey, it's not a statement, it's paranoia. Okay. Maybe he did it because if the Penguin comes, maybe they're planning something even harder, and that he just wants to disappear from the surface so he doesn't have to have the crowd on his ass again. Sorry for my expression, but you understand what I mean?
Well, could it be that the Penguin was so wildly inaccurate and caused so much collateral damage?
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
Unwarranted collateral damage that they're afraid to let Penguin run again.
I don't know, but... Well, if he had a burnout, guys, we have to think about it. Brazil, Germany played with Brazil. When was it? Day before yesterday, or when was it? When they played with Brazil, where Brazil lost. The Prime Minister of Germany said that you have to think about, guys, that there are about, I don't know how many thousands in that stadium, that they're all, for Brazil and shouting and giving that power, to their team players. So, and we have to think about that. Matt, I really feel sorry for the guy, because the curses and the bitching of millions of people on one person, no matter if they tell him directly in person or I'm talking on the collective level, that if he had a burnout, that would be the minimum I expect to happen if I was living in his skin. To be honest. So, but that he's gone on holiday. I don't know why is that something unusual that he took a longer holiday. I don't see anything changes in that. Like you said too. There are a lot of guys there. They know their job and they're gonna do it. And Matt Cat's not the one who is pushing the button of the Penguin. That's Amit. That's another department. So I don't see any concerns that Matt is gone, and I wish him a very nice holiday because I think he deserves it.
Well, that's interesting to me.
In the other post from Joshua Berg, he suggests that it's more about politics. Matt is on a leave, basically to say go to Google Webmasters instead of going to me. ask more at John or other people.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because now basically John Mueller is the guy who is taking care of the Google Webmasters, right? I mean, why are they all going to Mac?
The summer holiday is a perfect time to make that change, right?
Yeah,
and then he
absolutely.
goes on a leave, and maybe he pops up at a different position somewhere high in Google. I think it's more about politics than it has anything to do with Metcalf. If he did have a burnout, I would suggest that he would just tell he had a burnout, because it's still a little bit of unspoken disease, and it would make better that he spoke out of that, saying like, I have a burnout, I need to rest, or I need to do things.
Well, he
I
said
think
already
that will be healthier for how we look
yeah.
at burnout. But if he,
he said
does have a
promised-
burnout, I wish him well, because those things can be quite painful.
Well, he said that he promised his wife years back that he's going to take a decent holiday with her, and with his son that is going to be 15 now. He said he'll be 15 years old. That's what he said. He's just doing a family thing, you know, like. Yeah, we need to.
That is what politicians say too. That they pop up at a higher position or somewhere within the political party.
You never know. Yeah. But you
know
what pisses me off, Edwin? That when I want to go on holiday, nobody gives a shit. Nobody will ever mention that, hey, John Webnauts, he is on holiday and he took a long leave.
And I think it is also a good move if this is politics, that Google moves to a more positive point of view. Because let's face it, Matt does have the title head of team WebSpan. So if somebody else, not from the WebSpan team, like the Google Webmaster teams, like John Mueller, he's much more positive towards Webmasters than Matt Katz has been. So
Mali OJ would be much nicer.
Yeah, I suggested that one.
And I want Edwin, and I want Rob, if possible, to stick their nose in this.
I just want somebody from Google to put their hand up. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Sorry.
I just want somebody from Google to put their hand up and say, look, we got it wrong with negative SEO. We're sorry. We're going to drop upper limit thresholds, or they're going to do something to diffuse this negative SEO time bomb that's just getting worse and worse and worse. But I'd just like someone from Google to put their hand up and say sorry for all of the innocent mums and dads sites across the world that have been damaged by Google's policy.
Well, that would be nice, but
I don't think that's a personal thing for Matt Cutts.
Exactly. Why should Matt go out there and apologize? Okay, or John Mueller. I mean, there are representatives for specific things, but for example, Matt is not he is not in the department that they are doing the penguin thing. I mean, he is the web spam team. Right, he is for the web spam team. But when we say web spam team,
I think the Penguin update was developed by the web spam team. For example, Panda was developed by the quality team.
Yeah, but quality team is not Matt Katz.
No, and the Penguin was developed by the web spam. I thought.
No, wait. I'll send you. I attacked Amit when the Penguin came out the same day. Let me find it. I'll show you. Or Republic? Oh God, I'm scared. Yeah, you never know. Maybe I'll get banned. Wait a second, where is it here? Okay, algorithm updates. Hummingbird, no. Authorship, disavow, hacking, page rank, Panda, penalties, penguin. Okay, let me show you something, guys. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it was a bit rude when the penguin launched a few hours later when it was announced, but not sticking my nose.
Well, Matt Cuss.
Hey, oh yeah, she's good, man. She's good, Rob. I really like this lady, man. She's good. She's really good. If somebody has clue, I mean, if I want to talk technical level, she's the one. I wish you would come into this discussion I have there on where I sent you the link before, but oh, that would be fantastic, Jim. If we could get her in here, wow, man. I would just shut up and ask questions. I mean, really. Another step toward high quality. Yeah, okay, I know. Yeah, another quality.
Yeah, that one is signed by Matt Cutts himself. And the other one...
Yeah, he posted it, man. He posted it. It's
yeah, the other
different.
one was
John, there is a guy working in Whois. He's my ex-chief designer, Jens Meyert. He's working in Whois, and he was, you know, helping me with design stuff before I became an SEO. That was back in 2004 or something like that, or 5. And he's at Google, and when they write something that they're doing some changes with layouts and stuff like that, and he's adding his name, he's writing the blog post, but it doesn't mean that he is the one in charge for any changes in the visual appealing of search results or Webmaster tools, usability, and all that stuff. He does UX at Google, right? So, but Matt is web spam team, and I don't see Matt being for the penguin responsible. I know that he's involved, right? I mean, and you know, they have those internal conferences, and a couple times I think they showed real meetings of Google where they were sitting and talking, and I was watching one really advanced discussion they had about relevancy and defining relevancy in the search results and measuring and stuff like that. And I saw those sessions, and Matt was there too. I mean, it wasn't his department, but they're all gathering and they're sharing feedback, you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter who is responsible, I mean, who is in charge for this way. At the end of the day, it's Google. It's not a person, right? I mean, he can't. I will never make him responsible, man, for things that are going wrong, like the negative SEO or something. But I agree with Jim. I mean, yeah, man, well, them to apologize, that would be nice, but I think if you think about it, when you ask them directly, if you ask Google directly, they're telling you, listen, these are the rules, that's the way we operate, that's what we can offer, we can't do better than that so far. We don't make really, it's not our major, how to say, finance channel, financing our business. If you don't feel comfortable to do SEO for your website or something, or you don't have the budgets or whatever, that's why, on the other hand, we have the AdWords in there. If you want to advertise with us, pay the bill, you know? So, you know what I mean? It's just anybody who has spam.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, look, let's consider the Matt Cutts article done and dusted. And let's look at the next one, which is a bit of a debacle happening in the Eurozone regarding the right to be forgotten. And this one was found by Mr. Young. And has your page been removed due to right to be forgotten? It's BBC solution, write about it more. Edwin has gone on to say, actually, Edwin, these are your comments, aren't they?
Yeah, I shared a post from Tony McCreed, but the first it's mine.
But the comments are yours, yes?
Yes.
Yep, they'll sound much better if you read them.
Oh, okay. The right to be forgotten on steroids. That is, multiple news outlets are reporting that they are affected by that. Besides the BBC, the Guardian was affected, and Whois, that's the Dutch BBC. I think some German news outlets also reported it. And basically, all kinds of queries are pages. The right to be forgotten is query dependent, so it's not like they are removed completely from the index, but only for certain queries, mainly queries that hold a name. I think if you type in Edwin Jonk, you will see at the bottom Google saying some pages can be removed from this query because it is a name.
Person, yes.
And I think that the court decision is just too broad, too vague, and they should never had to make that decision, to be honest. I think it is rubbish.
What I think what they are doing is that they are now excluding quite lightly in order to get the public opinion to support them, not to exclude them.
Yeah, Sky News is reporting that one.
Oh, thank you.
On the other hand, that it is pretty broad how they set up the right to be forgotten. They didn't look at other let's call them human rights because it's about the EU. They just said, well, we have the data protection directive, so we're just going to implement that, and we're not going to look at anything else.
Why should they?
Yeah, and if Google wouldn't do that, then these people might say, look what Google is not doing. They have to because of the court.
In the form, you have to give the exact URL, just like in the normal removal request, which means that, well, newspapers, blogs, fora, they all use 3 or 4 different URLs for the same article. So it will be quite hard to really be forgotten at the end of the day. It will always be possible to find something.
Yeah, luckily we have negative SEO and all those scrapers.
Wow. I don't think.
Speaking of scrapers, you guys are aware that Google provides a page to report scrapers?
Yes.
So I spent an hour or two the other day. I mean, bear with me a second. Could you search for dumb SEO questions? Dumb space SEO space questions.
Incognito or?
Either way, it doesn't really matter.
Yes.
You scroll down past the first 5 or 6 results, you'll see that there are about 100 sites scraping the dumb SEO questions content and using the exact title page that we're using. Scraps of text from our pages. And of course, they're outranking our own pages that are being scraped. I reported these, I don't know when, but anyway, I have reported them. But so far, that report has had no effect. Am I wrong in thinking that You know, it was a good thing to do. What we've done, John Britsios, is that we've searched for the term dumb space SEO space questions, and we're looking to see, you know, whether Google is doing anything about the scrapers scraping this particular community's website, and ranking instead of our own pages. If you go down after about the 7th result, you'll see a couple of hundred websites copying our page title and text off our pages, and ranking instead of us for a term which should be considered our brand name, wouldn't you say?
Let me have a look at that. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. So question 1. I mean, you mean that they're scrapping now the dumbquestionsSEO.com, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
SEOquestions.com.
Question number 1 before, okay, and you're saying that they're scrapping the pages and they're copying them on other websites, right? So, question 1, do we have on the site now canonicals, self-referential?
Yep.
On all pages, right?
Yep.
Yes, okay, yes. And they're scrapping, but there are hundreds of sites. Okay.
Hundreds of sites, you can see them there. From result 7 right through, you can go back down to about 200, and you'll see our page titles. We use the same format almost all the time. The page titles have been copied verbatim, and scraps of text from our pages are also being copied.
Okay, let me see this one. Dumb SEO questions, no. And I'm trying to find one that is being scrapped. Can you give me an example?
Oh, yeah, sure. There's heaps of examples there.
Video marketing. Dumb SEO questions 30. Are you talking like people like doing this here?
There's always talk that he's got the got his signal like his promo at the start of the recording. Well done, mate. Okay, so we're asking dumb SEO questions. Guys, that noise. Questions asked on the dumb SEO questions community on Google+. Do I really sound that bad?
Sorry.
Not that bad, yes. That's how you sound.
Dear me. Okay. Well, look, I'm just trying to find one that is exactly.
Well, if content is scrapped, the only option we have now is, well, if you have Google+, your publisher in place, and if there are any individual posts that it has the author, or for sure there is evidence that it's from dumb SEO questions. So maybe start trying to do some reports and see how that's going to go.
Well, that's my point. The authorship is in place, and the publisher is also and we've also reported this via the page that Matt Cutts announced for
this one, okay.
Reporting scraping. So yeah, I don't know what else to do.
I'm not sure if they're all going, Jim, to the same department when you report this using this, what Matt Katz, a scrapper report, or there is, I would even file a spam report, or, you know, where if you have, if you use Chrome, there is one where it says spam report or something for Google. So and it shows a little image next to search results, and then you can just report it, click on it, and then you get that report form and you can report it. That's another option. And then I think they have on their pages too, somewhere where they're asking send a feedback. Let me see, but there was somewhere here. I saw that, or was it on Chrome? Let me have a look. Chrome. Chrome. Come on, Chrome. Okay, let's see if that is there. SEO dumb questions. Send a feedback. No, I don't see that, man. Report. Let's say spam. Ah, yes. If you look at the footer, I mean, you can give Google also feedback for the search results, which I think that's there. I don't believe they would avoid it. If you would click on the footer, send feedback. They have help, send feedback, and privacy terms. Send feedback, and then you just say, for example, what the case is, scrappers, and then you just type it. And then you click on further, the button, and then you can mark you can click on mark, and then you can take which page. You can mark the page where you feel like it's the one that is causing the problem. You understand? You can mark it.
I put a link in the chat there for the link that I've got for reporting scrapers. Unfortunately, I exited a minute ago, and I don't have the copy of the chat. But is that the same link that you shared before, John? That link that I've got there?
Yes. But there is something else. I'll just make a screenshot. Let's say somebody here. Let's say Let's say scrapped content. Example now. Scrap content, and then I go here. That says, how do you say it, man? Hold a second. Oh man. You click on send feedback, then you say page, scrapped page or something, scrapped content. There pops up a box, so you can say scrapped content. Well, I have the German one in front of me now, the browser, but I'll show you what it's doing. I'll send you a screenshot. Okay, let me put this here, and I do it like this. I did this for domain crowding once, and I saw that something happened. It took several weeks, but maybe it sorted out automatically. Maybe it was a coincidence, but I know that they took care of it. Now, I can't tell if they took care of it because of the report, but I can send you. Okay, so here is what happens when you click on the feedback, and then when you go further and you fill that out, and then it says you can mark. So it then pops up another window. Markieren. It's German shit. I turned to a German version again. I hate that. So, okay. And then I go back. And then happens this. And then it shows you there that it has two buttons. It says mark or something else in German. I don't understand it, but markieren. But now it doesn't do it. Let me refresh again now. One time it does, and one time it doesn't. Okay, hold on a second. Translate. Yeah, translate the damn thing now. Okay, there we go. Now it's English. I hope. Scrap content. I go next. And then I say, highlight areas. First it comes highlight areas. It comes another button. They call it highlight areas. And then you click on that one and it should pop up. And then you can go, when you do that, you just go to the URL, that part of the page that you want to mark. And you just mark it and you do it like this. Okay, here we go. Now we got it. So let me do it like this. And then we have now like this. Sometimes I use it because if we don't give feedback, and then happens that. You can mark it, and once you marked it, then you just go next, and then pops up the question, shows you the screenshot, and shows you this.
I think Google will do something similar to the right to be forgotten, no? Where they just look at the offending URL, take the content from it, and compare it to other sites, and not show those sites either. Would they do that or not?
Well, the question is, are they outranking dumb SEO questions for the specific page?
Well, I haven't gone deep enough to find out, but certainly none of that particular type of page are ranking in the first 200. It's just scraper sites. I suppose if we go deep enough, we'll eventually find the pages that are being scraped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this scrappers problem is something where
if I search for dumb SEO questions 50, I first get dumb SEO questions 50 from the dumb SEO questions, then a lot of other dumb SEO questions from dumb SEO questions, and then video marketing, carding, dumb SEO questions. So it doesn't outrank you.
Okay, but the thing is, again, I mean,
as far as I can see.
What is the problem if they're outranking you, but they're still having your title? Let's say SEO dumb questions 50, and they plug in the video. I mean, from the promotion perspective, I think that's cool. I mean, why are you concerned? I mean, put it this way. Because sorry?
If I search for number 31,
yeah,
I get a lot of videos.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the Google Plus page of Edwin.
Oh, yeah, but I think I know what the problem is. I think the problem is because Google prefers not to show dumb stuff. If you're honest and you're saying, "Hey Google, we're just talking about dumb stuff."
Oh well, that's why Matt takes a holiday then.
maybe the NLP is not tweaked well enough, and we have to look into that area now. NLP. I mean, if they really understand now what the whole thing is about. This is something interesting because NLP is my big baby when it comes to SEO. Oh, yeah, well, let me see something. Can you give me a page? Okay, I'll go to a page on dumb SEO, okay? Let's have a look. Is there somewhere, let me have a look something. So we're talking about the individual questions probably. So let me go and check something. Let's do an NLP test. Dumb SEO questions. So, okay. So let's go here. I'm on the home page. I'll take then an individual one. Okay, latest Hangout. Go here and turn on. Where are you, man? I'm very curious. So, where were the. Okay, here. Language. Okay, let's go here.
Actually, if you search for dumb SEO questions 91, that's not a bad result. I'd be happy with that, with just a few scrapers at the bottom.
Okay, so I tested the page dumb SEO questions 92, the most recent one. So
That's
title
today.
dumb SEO questions.
Sorry to interrupt, John, but I just should point out that that page did not exist before 10 o'clock tonight.
Okay, sorry. Okay, yes. Okay. Let's try another one. Yes, okay. Let's try an older one that exists a little bit longer. You're right. Sorry, man. Okay, let's go.
Try
I'll go to
91.
91, you said, right? Should
Yeah,
I go
that's
to
a week
91? Is that okay?
old. Yeah, 91 is a week old.
Okay. So let's go and check this one. Okay, try. Title SEO Dumb Questions 91. Author Google Profile, Language English. Entities. Entities, entity Google. That's the highest and the highest relevance grade. Sentiment is mixed. Type is company. Subtypes. Academy institution, award presenting organization, operating system developer, programming language developer, software developer, venture, etc. Then it comes WordPress, SEO. So for relevancy as entity, when we look at the entities, it shows as entity Google. So if that is what you want to have for a page about dumb SEO questions, that it will show as an entity Google, I don't think that's what's being targeted. Then we have the keywords. Highest relevancy has the keyword Google XML sitemaps. Sentiment is positive, and then it goes down. Duplicated content penalty. The sentiment is negative, but that's normal because of the words. But temporary unreachable errors, social media posts, key ranking factor, different author pictures, porn sites, knowledge graph, etc. So if I go to the taxonomy, it goes under web search, e-commerce, and JavaScript, which web search is the highest score, and that's what we're talking about. That's okay. Concepts, highest relevancy is World Wide Web. Second is search engine optimization. Third is hypertext. Then it goes on, the Legion of Zelda, a link to the past, then website, Alexa, internet, etc. So World Wide Web is the concept for that page. Yeah, it's just more maybe also targeted sentiment. Primary is Google, second is WordPress, and that's mixed, it's not positive. So the first positive is SEO, but it's the third one. Targeted sentiment, SEO. Relations, language, title, author, Google profile, text, feeds, microformats. Well, you know what I think? Let me go to this one and see how you did it. 91. I'll go to 91. What I think, Jim, I mean, my advice, I mean, just an idea now. I mean, I'm missing here a little bit of content related to the video.
Yeah, well, you'll get that on these particular pages because, like, Dumb SEO Questions 91 is the summary page of all of the questions. You won't get a lot of textual content until you go down level one from that page.
Okay, I see what you mean. Your answers, okay. And these below are all the questions, but if I click on these questions, I stay, I think, I don't stay on the same page, I go to another page, right?
Yeah.
So, or what is if you were adding the answers to the questions here too at the same time?
Yeah, we are. Well, I mean, first of all, we take the comments made on the community. Yeah. We take them across, and also we invite comments from the owners of the question, and of course from our panel.
Okay. Okay. Because, you know, the thing is that when I'm looking at, I mean, I'm looking with the eyes of Google now, the NLP eyes, and when it shows me entities Google and type company, it's something like it's like you are promoting, let's say on the 91 now what I tested, it's like you're promoting Google as a company on this page. You understand what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, it's just videos and then the questions, and if you click on the question you go to directly to the other page, right? Okay, so that's like a sitemap.
You think I should send Larry a bill for the promotion?
And let me ask you this. I mean, now I'm on questions 91, right? And 91, and then it has the links, backlinks, and says 122, backlinks coming from porn sites. So, and if I click on it, it takes me to another page. And do you index both? You index them both, right? Now, if I click on backlinks coming from porn sites, is that again the same video, 91? Yes, it's the same video, but you're showing them directly to the minute. Okay. Well, oh, hang on. Somebody's calling. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Better mute your mic, John. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Well, look. While John's gone, let's scurry away from our second news item and move on to the next. Number 29 on your run list is one that was posted by Edwin Yonk. It was a copy of a post made by Micah Fisher-Kirshner. If you're following along at home, you'll find all of these items on the SEO News community on Google+. And basically the title is the experiment that shows up to 60% of direct traffic is actually organic search. I think Micah had a caution that goes along with this statement. He said one thing to caution with this article: it looks like the experiment that Groupon ran didn't differentiate between new and returning visitors, assuming that this wasn't run in Google Analytics. That means that this isn't 60% of direct traffic that should have been classified as organic search, but rather that at most 60% of Groupon's direct traffic is at some point attributable to somebody originally finding them via organic search. Comments, guys?
Okay, sorry, I missed you, man. I just logged in again. The question was element. Can you repeat that, Jim? Or where do I find that? Which number is that?
All right, we're now on question. News item number 29.
29. Okay, let's see. One thing. 29. One thing to caution with this article: it looks like experiment that Groupon ran didn't differentiate between new and returning visitors, assuming.
What Groupon basically did was, for a couple of hours, they blocked Google bot for long URLs, and watch what the difference was between a normal week and the test. They called the test day, but they only blocked Googlebot for a few hours, and they came up with the number 60%.
Yeah, that was on Search Engine Land. I was reading that yesterday, day before yesterday. Yeah, they wanted to do a test. That was all, and they could afford to block Googlebot for several hours. So, but yeah, but the experiment, that was pretty interesting. Or don't you think, Edwin?
Yes,
But
it
how
was.
accurate that is now, I don't know. But it would be nice if if it could be proved that it's accurate.
Yeah, and Micah's comment here is also very important, that it's
Okay.
they didn't differentiate between new and returning visitors, so it's not like you're not seeing 60%. It's probably less than that.
Community answers.
And then pretty much the following is an update from Alistair Lattimore, giving some background to tests like those of Groupon, pointed out to the analytics, to the Atlantic and Luna metrics.
Yeah, but what I was reading there on Search Engine Land was that Groupon did a test. It was just like a test, and that they were sharing on Search Engine Land, telling that according to Groupon, what we see in the Google Analytics, the direct traffic, 60%, up to 6% could be coming from organic. And they were explaining it. Did you read that one from Search Engine Land?
Yeah. I read that one. Did you also look at the follow-up question, because they are somewhat of combined? In the Search Engine Land article, they ask for suggestions, and pretty much Alistair gave it to them.
Where can I find that? Because I'm looking at...
that is question 30, or news 30.
Yeah, but I mean... yeah, I read the question, but you said there were some community answers, and I don't see any here.
No, they're not community answers, but former tests from
others.
No, from other organizations.
Okay, I see.
Let me share the links here.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Reference links. Yeah, okay.
Here they looked at the social. Because it's not only Google that sometimes doesn't send the referral data. It's also social media and other.
I see now. Okay.
I think in one of those articles, the reporter said that he was using ISQ, and of course you don't get a referral data from that, do you?
Propagating the search, the person that shared the URL based on a small instant, an example. Dark social way. Well, for example, if Facebook is blocking Google out, and let's say, this is now maybe, I'm not sure if it's related, but I'm just thinking out loud. Let's say I have a group, and the group is not public, or not displayed public, for example, publicly. And somebody will click on a link. I put a link in there, for example, to my website. We're talking about something, and I just put a resource. And somebody clicks on that link and comes to my website. How should that count in the Google Analytics?
Sorry?
We know that Google, they're blocking, Facebook is blocking Google with robots.txt. I mean, not everything, not profiles, but they're blocking most of the part, Google out. They're holding Google out, right?
Yes.
So when I click, if I have a group, for example, and let's say, or somebody throws a link in that group, and somebody will click on the link and he will go to the website. And the Google Analytics, how do you think that's going to be recorded? Am I a bit confused now?
In the header, if you go from one page to another,
yeah,
you can in the header there is the requests you send to the server, right?
Yeah.
You give your header to the server. There's a referral data, and
Yes.
that is how you can track if this organic or non-organic.
Okay. Okay.
Am I saying that right?
A plugin for Google Analytics. Those links, what you have in there, they're broken, man. Where it says the Luna metrics and Google Analytics name direct ones. They take 404. That confused me now.
Does this one help?
Hold on. No. I meant no. I mean here, there it says there, if you're looking to get a better grasp of the impacts of this for your website, Luna Metrics has a cool plugin for Google Analytics, and Luna Metric is a link, and Google Analytics is a link, but it's going to 404.
Yeah, I shared another link.
Oh, okay.
I thought that last bit was a tracking code. That's why I removed it.
Okay. I see what.
I don't like tracking codes, mate.
Yeah, who does? First recap.
But maybe it isn't a tracking code. I don't know.
And solution and then monster JS. JS, is this now for Chrome or this is for Chrome? This direct monster? Let me see now.
Where are you looking?
I'm looking at the Luna Metrics blog, direct monster fix dark social.
Oh, okay.
That's what you sent me.
Yeah, that was back in 2013. It was for iOS 6, I think.
iOS 6. Oh,
yeah, they messed up their user agent and referral data. I think IE 10 also messes up things.
Yeah, well, I don't use iOS. That's sad.
Well, I think you can disable things within your own browser too. So.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. There are also many plugins to disable now, for sure. Introducing cross analytics. It's our direct conversion going forward. Yeah. Yeah. Story behind and the URL like below. This information don't actually cause Google to do anything at this point. Yes. Interesting. Cross-user analytics. Refer history. And download the script on your domain. GitHub. Okay. Google Analytics plugin that enhances synchronous universal management, 2 versions of synchronous classic version. Okay. G classic and only yes. Okay. Store. README. Download zip. Monster. Universal. Wow. README. Yeah, ensure the tracking code and check to look something like this. Using anchors by default, not recognize anchor parameters.
Shall we move on to the next question, or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Requires investigation.
I was waiting for John to come to a conclusion. I thought that would have been good.
Okay, we messed up. No, we're back at the scrappers. Back at the scrappers. That's what we're talking about.
You're the smart one, John. So.
With scrappers. Well, I mean, one thing I know is that one solution is to have a self-referential canonical, just to prevent, well, first to prove that, to have the evidence that that's your page on that domain and that's your old article. That was a very old tip from Google, the canonical self-referential, which I don't really like using it, but if it's, yeah, it must be used, and if the author is there, but I saw author publisher, is that author is your name, or is that to your profile, to your personal profile, or is that to your Google Plus, the publisher link?
And the publisher link is going to the business page, dumb SEO questions.
Yes, and author, it has your name, right, or somebody from the team who has a Google Plus.
Well, it depends on the page, but a page like that one, like with a dumb SEO questions 91, that would be me. But also the answer pages are set to set the. If a panelist puts an answer in, they become the author of the page.
Ah, well, okay, yeah, well, okay, I'm looking now, okay, let's take an example, right? I went from this 91, or what it was, backlinks coming from porn sites, 91, yes. So I went to that individual page, and it says your answers, selected answers from the dumb SEO question G+ community, and shows here Mark Hall. And Mark Hall is linking to his personal profile page, right? There is no question mark author, URL author equals author. So I mean that he is not claiming here to be the author of this content here on this page. Number one. Number two, I'm a bit skeptical about if you would have different people answering the question. Let's say there are coming 3 answers, and one is me, one is you, and one is this Mark Hall, and that we all put the author. I'm not sure if that is still okay. I didn't test it, but I know some for 100%. If you're using rich snippets, let's say you have a shop, and you have your product page, and on the product page, there are reviews, right? So people add reviews, and you have the average reviews, ratings, and reviews, right? And then you have, for example, featured product beneath, for example, or somewhere on the page, featured products. And you also add rich snippets for those individual products on that product page, that individual product page, and you have 2 times rich snippets on one page. Google doesn't accept it. It returns an error in the Webmaster tools. You cannot have multiple snippets, and I don't think it's different when you're going to have 3 authors on one page, right? But this page has no authorship claim. It's only Mark Hall, but that's only a link to his profile. So because when I go out there and I do, if I add a comment, when I have time, very seldom I go and put a comment on Search Engine Watch or somewhere. I put for a link my name, and that is linking to my Google Plus profile, but I'm not putting there the question mark rel author. You understand? Because that will not work. It will conflict because we're not the authors. So I'm not sure, but I know 100% for sure that on reviews and all that stuff, rich snippets, if they're duplicated on the page, Google is going to tell you there's an error, and they're not going to show them up. So here I don't see any author. I only see here, yeah, maybe the publisher and the code, but publisher. No, you don't need publisher anyway. You don't need it on every page. So, well, basically the publisher, it's dumb SEO questions, the company or the entity, but there is nobody who's really an author.
John, did you read the new article about link building from Michael Martinez?
No, Uh-oh, what happened?
Well, it's about think different. Do you want to read it out?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. That's number 31 on our run list. And, you know, I like Michael Martinez, but he really is a shameless link baiter. But the title of this article of Michael's is Why It Is Always Easy to Earn Links for Any Website. Why it is
31.
always easy to earn links for any website. Good heavens. Okay, your comments, guys?
This article reads a little like Apple's most successful ad, Think Different. It's short.
Yeah, I think he watched it first before he made this post because it's almost a one-on-one comparison. In the article, he's even suggesting there's that guy that made light bulbs. Oh, he's talking about Julius Caesar, Adolf Hitler, and so. Yeah.
The link is broken again, man. I can panelist answers.
That's a good link.
SEO theory. Yeah, that's Michael. Oh God. Okay.
In short, he says do different, be different, and act different. People link to new things far more often than they link to endless repetition.
Okay.
When you are different, you don't have to rise above the crowd because there is no crowd around you. First mover advantage. It requires courage because instead of chasing keywords, you have to create new keywords through the difference that you make.
Well, to an extent, I mean, I don't think it's really a bad idea if, for example, I'm writing an article. Let's use this, what he said now. What was it? Think different? Or what was it? Sorry again. What was it? Think different.
He says, do, be, and act different. That's basically...
I didn't read the article now because we're still talking, but my question is maybe talking about the variation of keywords and to avoid over-optimization of anchor text, and still these keywords will pass PageRank. And on the other hand, we all know, I hope, that not only exact match keyword itself, exact match key phrase anchor text is the one that is passing over the power of what we deserve, because you can say click here, and if around the link, the context around the link is about, for example, I don't know, dumb SEO questions, the context around the link and the anchor, you understand what I mean? That maybe he's talking about something like that, like an alternative. Like I would be writing an article, and at the end I say, so what do we do next? Think different, and you make a link and you point it to the. You understand what I mean? Maybe is that what he meant? I didn't read the whole, but for for variety to increase the variety of your anchor text, to avoid any over-optimization penalties, not.
I think he's talking about really being different.
Really being different. Well.
Like he is.
Yeah. Well, he is different anyway. You should see how he's fighting with Barry and all the guys there all the time. Yeah.
His attitude of being a fighter and. That makes him different, and I can assure you that will bring him links. So in that sense, he's right. The only problem is, if you want to be too different, then nobody will be able to find you, because nobody is looking for that much difference.
Correct. Well, let me bring an example now here. Some years back, I wrote an article on our company website. I published an article, and I had an idea that I was really, I mean, I'm telling you guys and everybody in the public can hear, it doesn't matter. I was really feeling offended calling myself SEO. Using the title SEO as my job, put it this way. It was, we all know, I mean, we know what kind of stuff is going on in our industry, right? I mean, the majority of our industry, they're not really SEOs. I mean, it's just people that, you know, or we have scammers, or we have even black hatters, we have all kind of shit. And SEO got a very bad name. And let's face it, I mean, in reality, why did SEO most come out with a new idea and they call that now? They don't call themselves, let's say, SEO. They made a group, they made a kind of, I don't know, a new term for SEO where they call it inbound marketing. And they had a lot of followers. It was enough to establish that as a new, let's say, job definition or job title, right? Later on comes, I don't remember who did that. They did this, it's being done, this digital marketing. Instead of calling myself SEO, John Brizio's digital marketing or something. It was, and I read several cases where people were talking about it, and they were saying, yeah, because SEO has a bad name and stuff like that. What I did was I came up with an idea, and that time I was hanging out with Andy Beard. I'm sure many of you know Andy Beard here. I was hanging out with Andy, and I said, Andy, you know what, I mean, I really, really, really would like to just take off that term off of our website, man, or at least for sure we will use the word SEO in the content, and that SEO is going to be one of the things we are doing, but not that we're only doing SEO. SEO is search engine optimization, but then we have also search engine marketing, which we would maybe put the ads part in that sector or something like that. But I said, we need to find a new definition. And then I came up with the idea, and I called it SXO. SXO, Search Experience Optimization. So, and I'm going to send you the link here so you can see what I'm talking about. SEO workers. I'll just show it in here. So, and the idea was, and Andy liked the idea, and you probably all remember Spin. Where we could, you know, add a, you know, like social media thing, the Spin one from Danny Sullivan. So what happened there, that Andy liked the idea, and he went and he plugged it into Spin. Well, for sure, there came Jill Whalen. She was bitching about it, and we don't need to change the word SEO to something else, and that's not necessary and stuff like that. So, and at some point, I tried to target this thing, and I wanted to get rid of let's say that our company is, we are search experience optimization, and then we would have the different categories. And we will say, okay, services SEO, services SEM, services social media, services conversion optimization, and do different, you know, to break it down into different services. And here is the link, so you can have a picture. It was just years back. And I think last year, Matt Katz came out, and on a video he says, why do you call yourself, instead of SEO, search experience optimization? I don't know if you guys watched that video. Matt Katz mentioned it. And at that point, I thought, wait a minute. Maybe it's a chance that we can now take advantage of because Matt Katz said, why don't you call yourself search experience optimization in that video on YouTube, right? And I thought maybe we can take advantage of it. But then on the other hand, who is going to search for search experience optimization? And we are only one company that would use that term. So how far we can push that? Look at digital marketing, look at inbound marketing, but the guys behind who established that thing, they have an enormous amount of people running behind them, you know. But if SEO workers tomorrow we change our title, and in the title tag on the homepage it says search experience optimization, we're gone. You know what I mean? And we don't have the power to establish that. But you know, and maybe Michael is having a point, maybe, I mean, to stand out and to be different or something like that. We want to be different, but is that so easy to be different? And his example with Apple, I mean, we're not apples, man. We're peaches.
No.
You know?
No. John, you should call it search experience and social optimization.
Yeah, well, that time I did it. That was, yeah. I mean, I never went into it further anymore, you know. And they were giving others were giving some tips, and maybe you have to add in those circles something. I don't remember what they were telling me that was missing in these 3 circles. You see that image with something, but I didn't push it any longer, you know. I mean, I thought, well, you know, and they were saying, like, for example, if you're doing search engine marketing, if you're doing AdWords, you might need to add in there also search engine marketing. And then now you say, for example, social media. That should have been maybe to make a new graphic from it and then break it down. But I really didn't put any effort. The video is on the article. I forgot that I put it in, man.
You should find the word with an X, like search engine.
Well, basically search experience, right? Search experience. I mean, that's everything that has to do with search experience.
So what we could do is, put an X in there. We could be sexos.
Yeah, for example.
Sex optimization.
Yeah.
That will score.
Yeah. It was an idea, and a very popular website. They wrote about this. What I published that time. If you search in Google search experience optimization, they're showing up, I think, on the top. Let me have a quick look.
Right. We had, sorry to interrupt. We had three viewers, and they all left. Oh no, one's just come back.
Because we're talking about sex.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's very important.
Let's cover off the last item in our news roundup. We covered Michael Martinez's article, how with the cute title of "Why It Is Always Easy to Earn Links for Any Website." That's a classic, Michael. Here's one that interests me a lot, and I regret that I didn't have time this week to follow it up, but Edwin Young posted this one. It is, how does Google index tweets? Now, I understood that since the ending of the fire hose, Google didn't index tweets, only indexing profiles. But here's a company which has done an indexation of posts for 963 different Twitter accounts. And they use the Twitter and Google APIs to pull the last 20 tweets from each of these accounts and track their indexation levels in a number of different ways. Did anybody get time to study this article in depth? Because I'd love to hear what you have to say about it.
Click on that link and see something. And those are being indexed. Duplicated content. We're going to get penalized now. Yeah.
But are they also shown in the SERPs when you do a normal search?
Yeah. If you just do site, then column site tweets SEOworkers.com. It's showing me only, it's showing some, but, yeah, there we are, yeah. They go supplemental, except of the main page, but you can see it here, Rob. So my tweets, for example, if Twitter is blocking Google and allows only to check my profile, not my tweets, then at least through this way I make sure that these tweets will be presented in the search results. But I'm not pushing this thing with, I mean, boosting authority on this subdomain thing. But if I did, they wouldn't be in the supplementals. What do you think, Rob? Rob is muted.
Well,
Well,
I would
I don't think site is their
go ahead, Rob.
representation of the SERPs. So the question is more, okay, I will believe they are indexed, but I don't believe they are ranked high.
You mean the individual tweets? Well, that's what I said. I mean, I'm not going like, okay, here it is. Yes, it's showing the links, but the site is blocked. Yeah, because I think I blocked them in the robots.txt. I think I blocked them. Let me see a minute. I can double check. I don't remember if we could block them or they were blocked. Hold on a second. SEO workers. Twitter for discoverability, I think it's not bad, but let me see here. SEO workers. Let's go on the server and see what's going on here. So we have tweets, HTTP docs. Okay. They are blocking robots. They have the robots.txt. They're blocking it. These the ones I'm using. How do you call it, man? The Twyla. They're blocking. They only let the main page being indexed. Yes. But when the tweets are updated, the homepage is being indexed from this tweets thing, tweets.seoworkers.com. The page is indexed, so they can pick it up. But now they cannot go deeper.
But for what,
see that it's
for what they score at the end?
Sorry?
For what would they score or rank?
Well, I'm not talking about rank.
Search term?
I'm talking about discoverability.
Oh.
If Twitter is blocking Googlebot not to access the tweets, for example, that at least we're pulling out the tweets here, and when Googlebot accesses this page, they can pick up the most recent tweets. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of fights that time, you remember, with Twitter and Google, and Twitter was blocking Google and that stuff, all these stories. So, and I found this solution. I thought, well, okay, let's make sure that Google has access to what I'm tweeting. That was the idea, basically. And because it's beautifully displayed, everything, I liked it. You know, it looks more organized with categories. I think it's. Yeah, I make sure that Google is finding that stuff, you know.
All right. Look, I think this is a good time to call a halt for the night. Are you guys happy with that, or is there something else that you'd like to bring up?
If we want to bring up something, we can bring it up private after the hangout, maybe.
Sure. Okay, so look, for the one viewer that has stuck with us through thick and thin, through all of this, I thank you very much. It's your interest that makes what we do worth something, and we appreciate the attention that you give us. I'll put a link to this hangout in the post in the Dumb SEO Questions community, and when we stop the broadcast, you're more than welcome to come and join us. You won't be on the air, and I'd certainly like to meet whoever it is that stuck it out for nearly 4 hours. Well, we've had a lot of others in the meantime, but at least one viewer, I'm imagining it's one, has been here with us tonight from the beginning to the end. Thank you very much. Anyway, same time next week, we'll be here.